Did you study some English today? Okay, so that's on that screen. And then... Nope. And this one, the audio's there. It's working. Okay, I think the audio's there. It's working. Okay, I think audio's there. Nice Sunday without study. Jason, you should be studying. No, I'm joking. Jason, you should be studying. No, I'm joking. Jason, you should be studying. No, I'm joking. Right, I'm gonna get a double voice. I learned from last time that needs to be muted. Okay, great. I think should be working. Let me just rearrange my windows so we've got the chat here, got the lots of sunshine. Oh, that's nice. I guess in China, yeah. I mean, wait, actually, it must be the afternoon, evening in China now. Is that right? Ooh, we have quite a lot of people coming in already. Oh, hello. So we have Aló se vuelve. It looks Spanish. Then Johnny, Adiba, Jason, Shirley, Eddie, nice to see you. I remember Eddie. Wonderful. Liza, I can't read some of these names. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly share my screen to get everything ready. How is the volume? Well, I guess you can control the volume on your side, so... oh, I almost forgot. Recording on this screen, and then I will share my screen on, let's move this here. Yeah, that's better. And then share screen. There are too many windows. Sorry, give me a second. Here we go. Let's go with this one. Or actually, yeah, let's go with this one. Alright, so before we begin, let's just wait for a few more people to come in, and why don't we just relax, a bit of small talk, you know, break the ice. How are you all doing today? Did you have a nice Sunday? Oh, it's 6 p.m. in China, I see. It's still, well, it's 10 a.m. here in the UK. The weather is... it is cloudy, as usual. It's pretty cold. I think it's like 3 degrees over here, so it's pretty chilly. But yeah. Okay. Alright, so we have about 10 people already. That's pretty quick. Okay. In that case, let me just quickly introduce what we are doing today. Okay, so today we're just going to do a bit of free discussion. You can see on the screen here there are many different questions. Of course, I'm going to answer some of these questions, but most of all, I want you guys to share your answers in the comments or the chat. Yeah, this is a good chance for you just to do a bit of writing practice, thinking in English, and, you know, listen to what I say and maybe try to copy some of these native phrases. Okay? So I guess we got 13 people. We might as well start. So I'm just gonna... let's start with a question. You might see some of these have a star, or it says picture. I'll explain that later, but let's start with a question. Okay, I'm gonna change the settings here. Oof, there we go. Oh, my speaker. Let's see, let's change that. Okay, so how is your home country different to foreign countries? Oof, that's a good question. Actually, let me make it bigger again. So, does anybody have any answers? For me, what is unique about the UK? I would say, you know, the huge mix of foreigners, you know, different... when I went to school, there were lots of different nationalities. You know, there were people from Hong Kong, from Africa, what was it? Lots of Europeans as well, and a lot from China as well. In university, college, you know, there were always different nationalities. So I'm very thankful for that, you know, being able to interact with people from different countries. But what about you guys? Is there anything unique or special about your home country? I'll just give you a few moments to think, maybe share some ideas. Yeah, maybe just one sentence. What's special about your country? We have quite a lot of people ready. Wonderful. Being colonized or colonized? Ah, I see. So maybe your country is heavily affected or multicultural. Countries that colonize or are colonized, they usually have a great mix of culture, right? So that can be a good and sometimes a bad thing, but nowadays, hopefully it's good. Yeah, thank you very much, Sevuelve. I think the most challenging thing would be the food. Interesting. Okay. Is that for your country? That is China. Um, when I think of Chinese food, I think of like challenging food for like tourists would be stinky tofu. In Cantonese, actually, I don't know the word stinky, but we would say dao fu. Yeah, it's got a really strong, pungent smell, so that's quite challenging for tourists. So yeah, good idea. Thank you. Um, okay, why don't we move on to the next one? If you have any ideas, please do share. Let's move on. What's going on? Should we jump into this yet? Yeah, why not? I have prepared a bunch of pictures. I'm going to quickly show you the first one. Here we have a very interesting picture. I'm not going to tell you the situation. Your job now is to share some of your ideas. First of all, what do you see? Just any vocabulary you see in this picture. For example, we see a lot of ice. Maybe, what is this woman doing? Who is this woman? What is that in the background? Where are they? Just any comments about what you see in this picture. And then after we get some ideas, I'm going to show you the story behind this picture. Okay? So, I'm just going to give you a few moments. Anybody, just share your ideas. Don't worry if it's wrong. Just tell me, what do you see? What do you think is happening? And what's going on? Wow, this is like a Duolingo English class. Oh my gosh, I've never taken a Duolingo English class, so I have no idea, but hopefully it's useful to you. But yeah, what do you guys see? Just any word, even just one word. Yeah, ice, woman. Yeah, what is she doing? Where is she? Any of this stuff. I don't want to give you the answers, so I'm gonna be quiet. I'll give you some time to think. Interesting. Thank you, Lucy. A grateful lady standing by the ocean in a snow day. Wonderful. Why do you think she's grateful? Is she appreciating something? Is she thankful for something? Good idea, thank you. Adiba, a woman observing the natural view. Yeah, she is kind of looking, I guess, at the water, the ocean, maybe. Very nice. Oh, really? The Duolingo exam has pictures to look at. Yeah, I think picture description is a very important and useful kind of skill to have. It is freezing, definitely, Eddie. I like that you didn't just say it's very cold, you use freezing, which is a great adjective, very native. Good job. She's looking at the clown. Is there a clown? Maybe she's looking down, you mean? Judging from her posture. Oh, interesting. From her posture, that's a good word. Her kind of body position, right? Okay. Woman in the museum. Oh, you think maybe this is a museum? Interesting. Yeah, it could be a picture in a museum, or it could be like an exhibit, right? We don't know. I'm going to give you maybe a few more seconds just to share your final answers, and then I'm going to go through some vocabulary. Any last ideas? Maybe she is meditating. Oh, that's a good word. Maybe meditating, kind of perhaps praying, or maybe she's just thinking silently. Yeah. Well, first of all, looking at this place, icy frozen chill, very good. Thank you, Rainy. So looking here, looking at these railings here, I wish I could make annotations. Next time I'm gonna do this in PowerPoint so I can make notes. But here you can see some railings. This is where you kind of hold onto the bars here. Um, this is actually a ship, and actually, if we zoom in here, you can see the smoke and another ship in the background. Yeah. Looking at this woman, she is probably looking at this headdress. Now, there are different cultures that wear this similar headdress, but I think she is a nun or a sister. This is in Christianity, especially in churches, you have the main priest, the person in charge of the ceremonies, and then you have the sisters or the nuns. They're kind of, I'll be honest, I don't know exactly what they do, but I feel like they assist, they take care of people, and have very many important jobs. Veil, that's a really nice word. Good job. Yeah, kind of veil. I think a veil usually covers the face, but this might be one. Okay, so as many of you said, it's freezing. It's really cold, lots of ice. Now, let's have a look at the story. Sorry, not this one. So, this, by the way, is a nice series called What's Going On in This Picture by the New York Times. These are lots of interesting pictures from famous articles. And it's great for practicing, guessing what's happening and just lots of different vocabulary. So this is one of my favorite things to use in my lessons. But let's have a look at the reveal. I'm going to read this. Maybe you can follow along, a bit of shadowing. Okay, so I'm going to start from here. 3, 2, 1. This week's image was posted on the New York Times Instagram account on February 13th, 2020. The caption reads, "This passenger, arriving in New York in 1927, was met with a rather cold reception. Returning aboard the France, which arrived in the midst of the recent cold wave with decks covered with ice. The New York Times reported at the time she bundled up in a few extra layers to survey the frozen Isle of Manhattan." Okay, so let's just quickly look at the vocabulary here. This is quite high level, by the way. I would say this is like upper intermediate to advanced. So if you don't understand a lot of the words here, don't worry. It's quite difficult, yeah. Simply put, a passenger arrived in New York in 1927, and it was very cold. Returning aboard the France is the name of the ship, I believe, covered with ice because of the recent cold wave, the recent cold weather. She bundled up. In other words, she put on a lot of clothes. She put on a lot of extra layers. Layers means like shirt, maybe, first layer, coat, second layer, scarf, maybe, third layer. Yeah, so many layers. Okay, let's move on. The SS Ile-de-France was a French ocean liner, a French ship, which made its maiden voyage. This is quite a rare word. Its first voyage. In other words, it was the first trip for this ship. On June 22nd, 1927, the ship's Art Deco decor, I think it should be Art Decor, made it popular with hip, affluent travelers. This means rich travelers. Crossing between the continents, it was even immortalized in song by Ginger Rogers, who, in the film Swing Time, sang to Fred Astaire that he was just as hard to land as the Ile-de-France. Ella Fitzgerald's version of the song, A Fine Romance, left out the line about the ship. Okay, so very simply, the ocean liner made its first trip on June 22nd. It was very popular with the rich travelers, and there were some songs that, well, sang about this ship. Okay, last one. In 1939, the ocean liner was the last civilian ship to leave France before the start of World War II. shuttling, in other words, moving, transporting 1,777 passengers, many of them American tourists, out of the Le Havre just hours before the country declared war on Germany. After a stint as a wartime prison ship in 1945, the Ile-de-France returned to civilian duty and to the cultural scene. The first part of the 1949 Broadway musical Gentlemen Prefer Blondes takes place on its decks. Okay, so this is simply just saying this ship was originally a wartime prison ship. Yeah, it was used in World War II, but it was kind of remodeled and used as a passenger ship after. What was it? Oh, sorry, it says here before the start of World War II. So maybe even before World War II, it was used as a prison ship. Okay? All right. But yeah, interesting picture here. A woman going to Manhattan before World War II started. Okay? All right. So thank you. Bundle up. Nice words. But yeah. Okay? What do you guys think of this picture? Share any comments below. All right? Now, let's move on to another question. Okay? Let's have a look. Do you enjoy going to parties? Oof, this is a good question. Do you enjoy going to parties? I don't know about you guys, but in the UK, party culture is quite big. It can be going to a friend's house, big party. Can be celebrating someone's birthday, or it can be going to the pub for a drink, right? What about you guys? Are parties common in your country, and do you like going to parties? If you want to come on stage and share your answer for a few minutes, please do come on, and we can listen to you and share some ideas. But if you want to come on stage and raise your hand, oh, we have Fares who wants to come online and share. In that case, let's bring him on stage. Let's have a look. I'm going to stop sharing this. Hopefully, he comes online. Oh, hello?
Yeah.
Hi, Fares. Can you hear
Hello.
me?
How you doing? Yeah, I can hear you.
Wonderful. Okay, nice to meet you. I'm doing well, thanks. How are you?
Well, awesome.
Yeah, doing well?
Happy.
Good, good. It seems like you're outside.
Yeah, I'm outside.
Wonderful. Oh, looks like wonderful weather. Okay, great. So yeah, why don't we jump into the question? Do you like going to parties, Fares?
No, brother.
Oh,
Because in my religion is haram, brother. No,
oh, I
to go in
see. Right.
countries like
So
that.
you can't go to parties because of your religion?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. I didn't know that. Yeah. If you don't mind me asking, what is your religion?
I'm Muslim, brother.
Muslim. I see. Okay. And why is it not allowed in Muslim? Oh, sorry, Islam. I think is the name of the religion. Why is it not okay to go to parties? Is it because of like alcohol or something like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. I see.
Because of the music, the you
Ah.
know,
Okay.
the drunk,
Right.
like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Um. What about if there is no music or alcohol? What if it's like a birthday party just to kind of like celebrate someone's birthday, just to chat and come together? Is that kind of party okay?
Also, brother.
Really?
Yeah,
I see.
we can.
Right. So that means you.
We don't.
Oh,
We
sorry.
do have only two. Yeah.
Hmm.
We do have only two celebrations
Right.
in the Eid, Eid al-Adha.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to say it.
That's okay.
And yeah, Eid al-Fitr.
Hmm. I see.
You got
Right. So you can't really go to all
only
of those
that
parties.
two celebrations.
Only those two. Yeah. So it's
Yeah,
pretty strict.
yeah.
I see. Okay. Wow. And do you want to go to parties? I guess because you're not
No,
allowed.
bro.
No, I guess because, yeah, it's against your religion. So,
No.
but that's okay. I see. Well, thank you very much for sharing your answer, and thank you for coming on stage. I know it was
It's
very
haram,
short.
bro.
Yeah. Hmm.
Thank you.
But yeah, great job speaking today. I think the connection
Yeah.
was not
Thank you,
wonderful,
bro.
so it was a little hard to hear you. But thank you for sharing your opinions. So thank you very much, and
Yeah.
I'll see you soon, okay?
I do have full connection. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care, Farhan. Oh, sorry,
See you, man.
Fares. Okay? Bye. Okay, sorry,
Thank
I
you.
need to keep things moving, so, and also I couldn't hear him, but I think he spoke really well. I'm going to limit, what was it? Each question, I'll accept one person on stage, because we have a lot of questions. Maybe if it's a very interesting question, we'll have more than one speaker, but I'm going to try and keep things moving so we don't, talk about the same thing forever. But anyway, let's have a look. So, it's haram. I see. I think I've heard of haram. Anyway, yeah, marriage parties. Yeah, that would be. I guess depending on the religion, some religions are quite strict, and having things like parties, I take it for granted. I think it's just normal, but I forget that other countries don't always do this. So again, a bit of culture shock there. So thank you very much. Oh, in Islam, wonderful. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Let's have a look. Ooh, this is quite a current topic. What do you think about English education in schools? Again, I will answer first and you can take your time, share some of your ideas in your country. How is it? And then I'll accept one person on stage. First of all, let me answer. In the UK, English education is a bit different because, of course, it's our native language. So, in school, I studied a lot of Shakespeare. We read a lot of books, and it was like analyzing the meaning of the poetry and the lines. For example, oh, why do you think this character did this? And a lot of analysis, right, in literature. But when I taught in, how do I say it? When I taught in Japan, of course, teaching English as a second language is completely different. I will say there are a lot of good schools and a lot of great teachers in Japan. Um, to be honest, I'm not a big fan of languages as a subject. What I mean is, in school, you learn English to pass an exam, right? And learning exam English, where it's like multiple choice, there's one answer, that's not similar to real life, right? So I feel like, of course, at the beginner levels, where they're testing you on basic grammar and intermediate vocabulary, all of that stuff is useful in real life. Yeah, we use it for many situations. But when you get to the higher levels, it almost becomes like, if you know these 5 rules, you can pass the interview no problem. But communication in real life is a lot more difficult. Not everybody speaks clearly. People have accents. People make mistakes, and you have to guess what they're saying sometimes. So I just think languages are not great for learning in the classroom. But anyway, that's my short answer. Right, let's move on to some other people. Let's see. Why it's normal, it isn't the same. What about music? I think people are still talking about the previous question. But yeah, let's see if anybody wants to come on stage. No one yet. In that case, I'll share a bit more. Yeah, I think if you really want to be good at speaking English in real life, textbooks can be good, but I would avoid the exam textbooks if you're not taking an exam. Of course, they're very good if you want to get that piece of paper that tells you, hey, you are ACAN grade 1 or TOEIC level 900. But I think you'll have more fun and you'll probably have more motivation if you enjoy it, if you self study. But self studying can be difficult because if you don't have a teacher to tell you what to do, sometimes we don't know how to study, and that's another challenge. All right. Let's see. Oh, some nice answers. Let's have a look. So, I think teaching English in Jordan is very bad because teachers read English vocabulary in different ways than reading in the UK or USA. Interesting. That's a very good point. Yeah. The teachers in your country, if they are not a native speaker, they're only human, right? They're doing their best, and they can't be the same as a native speaker. That doesn't mean they aren't good at the language, but even natives make mistakes sometimes, right? So they're doing their best, but yeah, it's an unfortunate, it can't be helped because we can't possibly have native speakers in every school around the world, right? So yeah, it's a bit tough. Okay, right. Why don't we move on to the next question? All right. Oh, I'm not sharing my screen. Sorry. Let me quickly share. I'm going to forget this very often, I feel. Right. So I did spin it already, but I'm going to quickly show you again. We landed on eyeballs. Now, question, what is an eyeball? Now, I think most of you can probably guess. An eyeball is this thing right here, the things we have here. Yeah, all of us have two eyes or two eyeballs. Eyeball is just the kind of scientific name for your eyes. Eyes, eyeball, same thing. Now, let's move on. Eyeballs, I think it is, where is it? Sorry, it is here. All right, I'm going to open this in a new tab. So we have a very interesting picture here. What the heck is going on here? We have a very strange picture. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4 eyeballs here. This is what we call kind of abstract art, yeah? The meaning, or rather, this image is trying to show something. Yeah, of course, it's not real life, but they represent something. It's almost like a metaphor, right? So, what do you think is the meaning of this image, right? What are the eyes? What is this man doing? Where are they? Yeah. So, I'm going to give you maybe a minute just to write some ideas. What do you see? Again, what is happening here? And this time, there isn't a set answer. We can't talk to the artist who made this image, but we can share our opinions here. So, thank you, Lucy. It contains an iris. That's a really nice word. The iris is this part here. Inside the white part, we have the iris around here, and the central black dot, this is called the pupil. Okay. Actually, I'm gonna quickly. Can I quickly share my screen here? No. I'm going. I can't share my screen, so I'll show you later. But pupil, iris, and eyeball. Okay, some useful words there. Right. Okay, so any more ideas? Eyeballs are the spherical organs of vision. Oof, Adiba, you sound like a scientist. Oh my gosh. So yeah, spherical, in other words, round. Organ, meaning like, lung, heart, liver. Yeah, of vision, our ability to see. Yeah. So all the eyes are on it. What do you think is happening with the man here? And what are these? There's a black dot and white dots, and there are almost these kind of windows. Does this remind you of anything? I'll give you a few more, maybe 30 seconds to share some ideas. What do you think the meaning of this image is? quickly write some notes. Organ was a nice word. Don't worry, I'm writing notes, but I'll share them with you at the end of the lesson, seminar, live, stream, whatever. Oh, Faraz, good idea. Thank you. Camera security. Interesting. Nowadays, people are monitored everywhere. I think that is a very good guess. And I think we'll end it there. Sorry, let me take a drink before I... So, there's a chance that we are observed by others. I think a lot of you have made a brilliant point. Yes, I agree. When I saw this, these reminded me of the kind of Windows, especially the Mac Windows. I think the Mac Windows have 3 dots in the top left, whereas in Microsoft Windows we have a line, a square, and a cross. But, yeah. For example, right now, you guys are watching me through my webcam, right? You are kind of monitoring me. And there are many applications nowadays, including HelloTalk, where something's always watching you, or at least that's how it feels. I don't know if you guys have ever seen, but I'll quickly stop sharing. Sometimes my mother does this, and some of my older relatives. When you have a laptop, there's that little webcam in the top middle, right? Sometimes my relatives will get a piece of sticky tape or some opaque material, opaque meaning you cannot see through this, and they'll stick it on the webcam, right? Even if it's not on. And I asked my parents or relatives, why'd you do this? And they said, well, people could be watching us, right? And I was like, but the webcam isn't on. And they said, yeah, but you know, hackers nowadays, like, it's dangerous, right? And a part of me thought, that's silly. But another part of me thought, well, maybe it's better safe than sorry. Like, I have no evidence it's not on. I cannot say 100% that, you know, no one's watching. So, interesting. But anyway, so monitoring, there we go. All right, let's go back to the picture. Sorry, window. Okay, now let's have a look at some other comments. Actually, can I see the comments? There we go. So, as I said earlier, many English learners from all around the world look at this website and share their comments. And some of these people are actually native speakers. But let's have a look at some other opinions from the online world. Okay, so we have Banana posted this last year. I think this picture is showing that no matter where you go or what you do, somebody somewhere is watching you. I think that was quite similar to what you guys said. Sorry. Whether it be through your phone or through a browser like Google Chrome, Opera, Internet Explorer, Safari, or just out in public. Oh, interesting. So this person is talking about not just the online world, but outside as well. Someone is watching you, whether it be with good intent or bad, or just watching you to sell your data to some third party. Third party meaning like not official, yeah? To make some cash from you, not reading the terms and services, okay? There was some great vocabulary here. I would say the grammar was a little strange, but I could understand what this person was saying. This person needs a few full stops and commas to make it easier, but I completely agree. There was some really nice language here, okay? Let's have a look at one more, and then we'll move on to the next picture. I think this picture is saying that when you are outside or at a public place, there is always going to be people that are judging you, yeah? You know, they think, oh, this guy is weird, ugly, strange, cool, yeah? based on how you look or how you dress. You can sometimes tell because they might stare at you. Stare is another good word, yeah? Stare meaning look straight at you for a long time without looking away, yeah? Staring is generally quite rude. Of course, if you're talking to that person in a conversation, yeah, you're just making eye contact, but you shouldn't stare at random people on the street or on the train, for example. Although you might not know what they are thinking of you, they either like you or they don't. We all get that feeling when we get stared at. We either feel creeped out, creeped out is a nice phrase here, or we feel insecure. I think there are some really good ideas here. Feeling insecure, yeah, feeling not so confident and worrying about our appearance. Feeling creeped out, yeah, it's like, ugh, why are they looking at me? Ugh, you get this, like, ugh, gross feeling, yeah. So, creeped out, feeling insecure, these are two great phrases here, okay? So, I'm going to stop sharing and quickly share some comments. Again, please do share some of your comments. What did you think? Do you agree? Disagree? What's your experience? Let's see. Nowadays, people monitored everywhere. Yeah. So, when I went to Japan to work, I was very lucky, or I am very lucky, because I look Asian, right? Now, yes, my ethnicity is Asian. My mother's from Hong Kong, my father's from Malaysia, but my nationality is British, right? So when I went to Japan, if I don't open my mouth, I'm safe. You know, people don't look at me. Some people, well, most people actually thought I was Japanese. But if my parents were, 100% British, um, especially if you go to the countryside, some people do stare. And this isn't just Japan, this is in many other countries, yeah? Especially countries where, how do I say it, the population is very homogenous. Homogenous meaning kind of very similar in nationality or ethnicity. For example, Japan, I don't know the data, but it's like 90% or something, maybe even more. Japanese roots. But in the UK, as I said earlier in school, we have like Chinese British, Indian British, African American British. African American British? Is that the right word? Anyway, but yeah, in the UK, I don't stand out, and in Japan, I didn't stand out. But if you're black or white and you go to the countryside of Japan, people might stare at you. Not everyone, it's still, I would say, a small amount, but I've heard that they get a lot of strange looks sometimes. But I think that's just they're not used to foreigners. And again, they might not be thinking anything bad. All right, why don't we move on? Let's go back to the questions. Let's go back here. All right. So, moving on from eyeballs, let's... Oh, that was quite loud. I'm sorry. Money and happiness. Oof, this is a very good one. Let's go over here. Now, again, I'm going to open this in a new tab. Here is a bit of analysis. I want you to look at this picture. We have a graph. But can you tell me what is happening here? What is the graph showing? And what is it trying to say about money and happiness? What's the relationship? And also, a bonus question, do you agree with this graph? I'm going to give you maybe a minute or two just to write your answers. Have a think. So here we have happiness going up on the y-axis and more money and stuff going right on the x-axis. So, here, this line says what we think will happen, and this wavy line, reality. So, what is this graph trying to show or trying to say? And do you agree with it? I thought so. I was looking at the comments and it wasn't moving, so... Oh my gosh. I don't know why. On my window, the chat is not moving automatically, so... I thought nobody was saying anything, but... Okay, sorry, let me read through the comments. So, going back to the last picture about eyeballs... oops, I don't want to show you that. Oh, there are too many... Here we go. So people were saying they are selling you to the ads, and then, oh, that was it. Okay, right. So we have, with money, we happy always. Right, so with more money, we are always happy. Interesting. We're always happy? When money is found, happiness increases. Interesting. Okay. So when we find money, we become more happy. Well, that's very true. I think sometimes when you're doing laundry and you find like some extra money in your pocket, like, I don't know, a £10 note or an 1,000 yen note, you're like, oh, I'm good. I'm glad I didn't put it in the washing machine. Oh, I have an extra 1,000 yen or £10. Like, you get a small boost of happiness, right? Okay. So please continue to share your ideas. I'm going to share my opinion here. So the graph is showing that as we get more money, we think that we will become more happy. However, the reality is that, yes, sometimes it goes up, but sometimes it goes down. In other words, money doesn't always make us more happy, and also it doesn't really, there's not this positive relationship. It's not like the more money we get, the more happy we become. It actually kind of doesn't matter. It's just sometimes we do get happy, sometimes we don't. But it says here the amount of money doesn't matter. Yeah? So, let's have a look. When money is found, more money doesn't necessarily make you happier. Good, very well done, Eddie. I like that. Doesn't necessarily make you happier. Yeah, it doesn't always. Sometimes it might, but sometimes it doesn't. Good job. Money is not everything, but everything you need money. I guess everything needs money. Yeah, many things require money. Food, a house, entertainment these days. I would say there are some things that don't require money. For example, HelloTalk. There's a free version. You can, meet with people. And if you can find a good friend, you can hang out. That's if you're lucky. Money is not always the source of happiness. Very well done. So, some really good ideas here. I would say that I kind of agree with this. Yeah, I do think that most people believe, or most people feel, that the more money we have, the more happier we will be. But yeah, reality is a bit different. It's not always such a simple relationship. Okay? It also depends on your situation, right? If you are poor, then getting, £10, £20, a small amount for some people, that might make a poor person much happier, right? Because they don't have much money. But for a rich person, getting £10, £100, it doesn't matter. They already have a lot of money. So it depends on your situation too. But very good ideas. Thank you very much. All right, let's go back to here. This time, let's choose a question, not a picture. Let's have a look. We already talked about this one. I can delete this, I think. There we go. Ooh, let's have a look at this one. Oops, it's doubled. So, are you scared of dying? Sorry, let me read this comment. For top person, got money process that more happiness, even house, car, sometimes satisfied vanity. I'm not sure exactly what you mean here, but I guess you're saying for the top people in society, more money means more happiness or something like that. Okay. Dominica, you've already answered the question. No, you're not scared of dying. Interesting. I will say, I'm terrified. I'm very scared of dying. Yeah. There's a lot of things that I want to do in my life, right? For example, get more money. I'm a very greedy person. I want to get more money so I can, buy nice things for my parents, get a nice house, and, treat my friends to dinner and things like that. So I do want money so that, I can buy some nice things for myself, but also, to make the people around me happy as well. Because you do need money to buy many things. I believe that this is not our real life. Oh, interesting. So maybe you're talking about like the afterlife or your next life or something like that. I mean, yeah, I think most people are scared of dying, right? But again, it depends on your situation, what you want to do in life. People who don't have a direction in life and they're not sure, they tend to be less scared of dying. But people who still want to do many things or they have many, how do I say it, important things in their life, I guess they're more scared of dying. That's my guess. That's just my opinion. Of course, again, there are many other things to think about. But anyway. All right, so, yep, there's another life. We will live forever. Infinity. There's no sadness, sickness, or any annoying things. Interesting. But I guess the bad things in life, for example, sickness, sadness, because we have these negative things, we can, like, appreciate the good things in life, right? Because there are so many bad people online, outside, when we do meet those, like, awesome people that we really get along with, we can be really grateful because it's like a miracle, right? And we think, wow, I was super lucky to meet you and things like that. Yeah, so I think it's a double-edged sword. Right. We have a person, Ghost, has come in. Maybe you want to share your opinion with Are You Scared of Dying? Let's have a look. Let's have a look at Ghost. Very spooky name. All right. Oh, let me stop sharing. Hello.
Hey, buddy.
Hello,
Eric,
Ghost.
how are you?
Nice to meet you. I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
Meet you too, Eric.
Great.
Is that your name?
That is my name. Thank you for asking.
Right.
Yeah.
A good name.
Thank you. Thank you. So, before we answer the question, can I ask you, where are you from?
I'm from. What do you guess, man? You guess where I'm from.
What? Sorry, Wadigas, did you say?
Yeah. You can guess where I'm
Oh,
from.
I
Yeah.
see. You're saying, what do you guess? Looking at not Mexico. Somewhere in Southeast Asia? No, Middle East?
I mean, Middle East. Yeah.
Middle East. I'm gonna say right now, my geography is terrible. So, it's not Iran. It's not the Iranian flag. I have no idea.
Yeah. We.
Oh, it looks like the connection. Hello? Oh no. I think he's suddenly disconnected. Ghost? Oh! I'll give him a few seconds to reconnect. 5, 4, 3. Oh no. Well, to keep things moving, I'll have to remove him off stage because, yeah, some people do have bad connections. So that's a huge shame. But thank you, Ghost, for coming on. Just because I want to give many different people a chance to speak and share their opinions, I'm going to have to keep this moving. So sorry about that, Ghost. All right, let's just quickly read some comments. I think they are scared of their past deeds. Oh, interesting. Maybe they made some mistakes in their past life. But I love this life and have my own dreams that I hope to achieve one day. That's wonderful. Great. I'm scared of dying because I can't meet my family. That's very true, yeah. I guess if you have younger family, dying before, you know, your younger relatives, that's quite a scary thought. And saying goodbye to your older relatives, that's also terrifying, right? So, yeah, a lot of things to think about. That's why we should be grateful for having our family and things right now. Okay, right, let's move on to the next activity. It might be a question, it might be a picture. Let's have a look. Okay. Oh, that's really loud. What is your biggest fear? Ooh. I think many of you remember, if you joined for the Halloween presentation, we talked about fears and phobias, yeah? Do you remember, you know, the phobia of high places, yeah? I'm going to give you 5 seconds. High places, a fear of high places. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Acrophobia. Yeah, acrobat, a person who walks on the tightrope in a circus. Anyway, what is your biggest fear? If you want to come on stage, please raise your hand and I'll let you come on. I'll answer the question first. Many people think of physical fears. Spiders. I'm terrified of spiders. I hate spiders. If I see a tiny spider, like, for example, if it's in the corner of my room, I cannot focus. I'm like, and then like every like minute I'll be checking that corner. I hate spiders. Yeah, so sorry, Ghost. Why are you afraid? Life is short. I don't know, but being afraid and scared, it's important for survival, right? We talked about this before, but yeah, being scared of tiny spiders, maybe that's not a useful fear. But my biggest fear right now is probably losing, this wouldn't happen, but losing touch, or maybe for some reason losing my friends. My friends are probably even more, of course, job, money, and all of this stuff is really important. But for me, one of the most important things in my life are my friends. If I didn't have my friends, I'd be going crazy right now, right? They help me stay mentally healthy. By talking to them, I can have a really good time. For me, more than traveling and buying expensive, luxurious things, for me, just talking to a friend, you know, having a meal together, meeting in real life, that is the thing that probably brings me the most happiness right now. So losing my friends is probably my biggest fear. But anyway, let's have a look. So to lose people who I love, definitely, yeah. So quite similar, losing friends, family, loved ones. And then mouse, bro, I hate the mice, yeah. My mother also really hates mice. They can be, I guess it's because they're quite dirty. So yeah, mice can be quite scary for a lot of people. To lose people who I love, this is my biggest fear. Yeah, definitely. All right. Okay, let's move on to the next question or picture. Let's go here. I need to remove this question and this one. Okay. Right, let's move on. Oh, WGO. What's going on? Okay, let's do a bit of vocabulary practice. We looked at this one earlier. Let's have a look at this one. I'm going to zoom out a little bit here. You guys are going to tell me anything you see in this picture. What is happening? What do you see? Why do you think this is happening? What's the situation? Just any ideas. Okay. My biggest fear is being killed by a wild animal. I think most people are scared of being killed by a wild animal. Having fun with relatives, interesting. Why do you think they're relatives? I'll give you a few more moments to share your answers. Yeah. Who are these people? Maybe what country is this? Looking at the people and maybe the background. And the important thing, what the heck is going on here? There's a red circle and some things in the middle here. What is going on? I also do not know exactly. I know what these are. Do you know the name of these things? I'll give you a big clue. These things usually eat grass and other plants. They're famous or known for being super slow, very slow. Oh, I see some good answers in the chat. We have a race. Very good ideas. Eddie, people are watching the snails wrestling. Snail is the correct word. Well done. And I see also another person, snail match gambling. Do you think these people are betting money? These children are gambling as well? Maybe. I mean, this person, I think, is he drinking beer? Is it a family event? Who is this event for? I don't know. We have a photographer in the top right. Tourist has photos. Yeah, maybe a tourist is taking a photo. Maybe it's a festival. Thank you, Sana. Well done. But yeah, so we have racing, gambling. Well, let's have a look at the story behind this picture. So, the reveal. Oh, we can see this adorable. Well, actually, is it adorable? What do you guys think? Are snails cute or gross or scary? How would you describe this snail? What do you think? I think it's kind of cute, but because they're like wet, I wouldn't put it on my hand or arm. So it's kind of cute, but kind of, I don't want to say gross, but oh, we have some people who agree. Nice, cute, yeah. I guess it's because they're so slow, because they're not scary. The reason why I hate spiders is because they jump and they're so sudden, unpredictable, and oh, I hate spiders. Anyway, so I see somebody's raising their hand. I'm not going to accept people on stage for these pictures, but I will bring people on stage for the questions later. So sorry about that. So let's have a look at the explanation. Let me just quickly drink. Okay. This week's image was taken as a part of a photo shoot covering the 2024 World Snail Racing Championships, which took place on July 26th, 2024, in Congham, England. By the way, I don't think this is England, as in the UK. I think there is a town or city in America that is called England. I might be wrong. It might not be America, but I don't recognize this name, so it's not the UK. The original article reporting on the event, ready, steady, slow. This is a nice joke here. Usually when we have a race, We go 3, 2, 1, or ready, steady, go. But this is a nice joke because they're snails, they're not going fast. So ready, steady, slow, championship snail racing at 0.006 miles per hour. So very slow, okay? For the next few weeks, Paris will be home to many of the world's impressive athletes. So I think this was happening at the Paris Olympics just before the Paris Olympics, including some of the fastest human beings on the planet. Among the competitors gathering for the Olympic Games are runners who can knock out, in other words, finish a marathon in just over 2 hours, a mile in under 4 minutes, and 100 meters in less than 10 seconds. However, earlier this month, the rural village of Congham, England, the countryside village, played host to a less likely group of athletes, dozens of garden snails. They had gathered to compete in the World Snail Racing Championships, where the world record time for completing the 13.5-inch course stands at 2 minutes flat. So the world record time for snails to complete a 13.5-inch course or race was 2 minutes exactly. Okay, I think I could go faster. Of course, I'm joking. I hope that snail that got the world record, I hope they got the Guinness World Record certificate. Yeah, they deserve it. At that speed, roughly 0.006 miles per hour, it would take the snails more than 6 days to travel a mile. It isn't the greatest spectator sport in the world, said Nicholas Dickinson, who organises the race with his fellow snail master Ian Haynes. Okay, but the glacial pace, in other words, the very slow speed of these gastropods, this is the family of the snails, is the product of Olympic level exertion. In other words, they were very exhausted. Most of a snail's soft body is composed of a single muscular foot. Wait, really? Interesting, I didn't know that. The foot makes a thin layer of mucus while waves of muscular contractions, so the muscles are squeezing and moving, they push the animal forward. It's a form of locomotion, a form of movement that requires 12 times as much energy as running. I guess they're comparing it to human running, right? Because snails can't run. So, yeah, for the snails to move like this, it takes 12 times as much energy as it does for a human to run. Like, that is crazy, isn't it? Right? Like, for us, I get tired after running for 1 minute, but them just moving at the slow speed, it takes a huge amount of energy. Crazy stuff. Okay. Welcome, Samantha. Right, so there we go. The World Snail Racing Championships. Crazy stuff. Okay, let's go back to the next question. Ooh, let's go here. We can remove this. Okay. Guilty pleasures. Okay, this is a picture, but actually I'm going to accept a person on stage. But first of all, let's look at the picture. We have a very humorous, strange person here. I remember the Turbo movie when you were speaking. Turbo. Oh, is that the movie about the fast racing snail, I think? I can't remember. It sounds familiar. Anyway, right, so we have an interesting person here. What do you see here? I'm not going to say anything. I want you to... Oh, we already have an answer. A lonely, miserable person. Interesting. Why do you think they're miserable? I always find it interesting how people from different countries, when they look at a face, some people have different opinions about the emotion. We have alcoholic. Oh, interesting. Is this alcohol? Actually, it could be alcohol. The colors remind me of like Diet Coke. Yeah, the red line. Wait, actually, what does Diet Coke look like? Diet Coke. Kind of. Oh, but it doesn't have a red line going down, so maybe not, but kind of similar. Anyway. Because he drinks a lot, a person addicted to soda. Interesting. Yeah, I think Yulia, addicted, was a really nice word. Yeah, addicted meaning something so attractive, tasty, or good that we can't stop doing it. Yeah, it's a very bad kind of, what was it, situation. Yeah, people get addicted to junk food, alcohol, drugs, video games, drinking Coke more, feeling guilty. So, really good job using the word guilty. Do you remember maybe in yesterday's psychology seminar we talked about feeling guilty or feeling bad about doing something? This means you do it and then you regret it later. Yeah? This, as we looked at earlier, the name of this article is called Guilty Pleasures. Yeah? Pleasure, another word for something making you feel good, like good food, or in this case, probably soda. A guilty pleasure is something that you enjoy, but you know it's bad for you. You feel bad about drinking, eating, or doing this thing, but you do it anyway, because once in a while it's okay, right? Sometimes we humans, we're not good at controlling our emotions, yeah? Everybody wants... I will tell you, one of my guilty pleasures is crisps. I'm not really a chocolate person. I'm more of a crisps person, so my guilty pleasures are crisps. Video games used to be my guilty pleasure, but nowadays I play it a little bit, but not too much. I'm not addicted, so it's not... I don't feel guilty, because a little bit is okay, right? But for you guys, what's your guilty pleasure? Yeah? Is it like maybe a small cup of ice cream, or maybe crisps? Maybe watching Netflix, you know, binge watching a whole season of, I don't know, what's a famous, I don't know, watching the whole Harry Potter series, the 7 movies, or something like that. What are your guilty pleasures? We have drinking Coke, and then sitting with his problems. He or she is obese. After enjoying the drink, they regret it, definitely. All right, so very good. Sweets, definitely. Yeah. For most people, you're usually a sweets person or a kind of salty, savory person, like crisps. What else? Like jerky and salty things, right? Watching Hello Talk too much. Watching Hello Talk too much, definitely. That's a guilty pleasure, yeah. So this phrase, guilty pleasure, a really nice high-level word. My guilty pleasure is something like that. Okay, so make a quick note, put it in your notebook, okay? Right, let's go back to the... Let's go back here. Okay, so here, let's read the caption together. What bad habits are you trying to stop? Yeah, maybe reducing the amount of soft drinks that you kind of drink. Let's read this here. A Times article talked about one writer's struggle to kick her diet's cola habit. To kick a habit means to stop a bad habit. Have you ever struggled with giving up soft drinks, sweets, or other guilty pleasures? Are there other bad habits that you have tried, successfully or unsuccessfully, to quit? What tricks helped you to stop, and what obstacles prevented your success? Is there an upside to indulging in habits, that is, doing these habits? Is there an upside to indulging in habits, foods, or behaviors that might be bad for you? In other words, if you continue this bad habit, is there any good point, any good thing about this? Yeah. If I give you an example, yeah, they're unhealthy, but sometimes we need to relax and, for example, your birthday. It's okay to have a bit of extra cake, right? If it's a long-term problem, okay, maybe you need to fix this or kick the habit. Well, I think it's okay sometimes, right? Now, we have a lot of questions here. So here, I'm going to give you a chance to come on stage. You can choose to answer any of these questions, yeah? Have you ever struggled with giving up? Are there other bad habits that you have tried to quit? What helped you stop? And what obstacles prevented your success? What stopped you from giving up these bad habits? Okay, so if you want to come on stage, you can come on now. I'm going to highlight the questions. You can answer any of these questions. Okay. Watching One Piece. One Piece is such a long anime. It's got like more than 1,000 episodes. I also tried to watch it. I think I'm on episode 800 and something, but holy moly, it's too long. Watching short videos, definitely. It's the same as me, Emily. I also watch YouTube shorts, like sometimes before I go to bed or sometimes in the morning just to kind of wake me up. But it's not a good habit. It's a huge waste of time. So, yeah. Does anybody want to answer any of these questions? Let me choose one, and then if nobody wants to come on stage, we'll move on to the next question or the next topic. Are there any bad habits you have tried to quit? One of my bad habits, and I think something that many people do, when my alarm clock goes off in the morning, I snooze. I will stop the alarm clock and I will delay it by 5 minutes, okay? Now, some people, they will set 50 different alarms, right? They don't snooze, they don't delay the alarm. They have 50 different alarms set 2 or 1 minute apart, right? One time I looked at my friend's phone and I looked at his alarm. Well, he showed me his alarms because we were talking about this. I didn't just get into his phone and invade his privacy. He had an alarm at, I think it was something like 6 a.m., 6:02 a.m., 6:05 a.m., 6:07 a.m., all the way until like 7 a.m. So he had like 20, 30 alarms between 6 and 7. And I was thinking, just wake up or snooze it, because if you decide to wake up early, let's say 6:20, what do you do with all these other alarms? You have to like cancel all of them. Like, I was like, are you crazy? Anyway. Yeah. So I have a bad habit of snoozing and watching YouTube shorts in the morning. So one thing I tried, there was an interesting alarm app, which is, it's a normal alarm, but to stop the alarm, you have to take a picture of a place or a thing. You can set the picture beforehand. I think it's called Alarmy, Alarmy. And so, for example, my bedroom is like on the other side of the house. I might take a picture of, let's say, my PC right here. So when my alarm goes off in the morning, I have to get out of bed, walk all the way to this room, and take the same picture. If the picture I take doesn't match the set picture, the alarm just keeps going. And it's really loud. It's really annoying. So I continued that and it worked for like half a year, but for some reason now I've gotten lazier and I just haven't reinstalled the app. But that was a really cool app, and I think it was a very creative way of solving this problem that everyone has. Anyway, me too, Maggie, thank you. Oh, we have a person. Emily wants to come on stage and share something. Why don't we welcome Emily? Let's have a look. Okay. Hopefully there's no connection problem. Has she disappeared? Oh no. I invited her on stage. I think it's disappeared. Maybe she decided not to come on. That's okay. No worries. But yeah, there are lots of bad habits that we need to stop. It's not so easy, right? Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Let's go back here. I need to share my screen again. Sometimes I will forget to share my screen because I'm thinking about 5 different things at once. So please forgive me if I forget. Just remind me in the chat. Okay, no worries, Emily, that's okay. Right. Oh, what's going on? Another picture. I want to give you guys a chance, so let's go to this question, okay? If anybody wants to come on stage and answer this question, what do you think about online dating? Okay? Again, you can share your answer in the chat. Or, what was it? You can come on stage. To give you some ideas and give you time to think, I'm going to answer this question first. What do you think about online dating? I find it interesting because the online... Oh, sorry. The online... Not online, sorry, my brain is going stupid, sorry. The older generation are newer to this technology, and they tend to be, how do I say it? They don't install so many like of these apps, and often I hear them talk about online dating saying like, oh, we never used to have online dating, we had speed dating, we met in person, go outside and things like this. So online dating, that's crazy to me. But when I speak to people who are from my generation, my age, 29, 30, or younger, they say, yeah, like online dating, I can't meet people in my job. I can't meet people in my city, right? And a lot of people have, you know, international friends, such as myself. And especially on Hello Talk, it's a kind of online international community, right? There are many people who use Hello Talk as a dating app when it's not. And that's why you'll find, especially a lot of the women, the females, they'll put in their profile, I'm not looking for romance. And I think that's good, because I've heard a lot of stories about women getting a lot of messages from guys. Of course, not all men are like this. But yeah, I'm going off topic, but Hello Talk is a language platform, so I think it's okay to become friends, and then later, if you get a really good relationship, you know, you can, I guess you can confess if you really like them. But you need to be polite, you know, online manners is very important. You shouldn't make the other person uncomfortable, right? So, but anyway, yeah, online dating, I think it's good. You know, it's just another way of meeting people. As long as you are polite, you don't do anything weird or crazy or show them anything inappropriate or send any weird pictures, I think it's fine. But because it's so easy to download these apps and meet people online, you get a lot of weird people on there. So, yeah. Pros and cons. Okay. Let's have a look. Oh my gosh, it's not nature. Untrue. It's not nature? You mean meeting people online is not natural? It's not natural. True. But what is natural? Like, online dating has now become more natural or more normal. So I think what is normal kind of changes with society. It's like language, right? Language evolves. Every year there are new words. Like during COVID, one of the new words that became super popular, but nowadays we don't use it at all, is social distancing. If you ever travel to a different country, you might see the sign at the airport saying, please follow social distancing rules. I can't remember the last time I saw, heard, or used the word social distancing, and that's because the virus is, well, not gone, but COVID is over. So what's normal changes depending on the time. Anyway, Yulia, you agree? Interesting, great. I'm glad that you agree. But yeah, I mean, I can understand both sides of the argument. Eddie, it's one of the opportunities to meet someone who suits you, but you have to be careful. You might be in trouble. Definitely. I completely agree. Yeah, it's a great opportunity, but anything online nowadays, you got to be careful. And this is why I think internet education or teaching the young children about suspicious websites, scams, and just online privacy and online manners and what you should or shouldn't do. Kids are growing up with like iPads in the classroom, in primary school, in elementary school. They're already using iPads and watching YouTube, and we really have to start educating children because they can see some pretty crazy things on the internet. The internet is a crazy place. So, yeah, I gotta be careful. Be dangerous for online dating, definitely, yeah. I think, yeah, online dating, never really meet someone in person if you do not trust them. Like, of course, different people have a different level of trust, but just be careful. It's always a good idea to meet in a public place like a cafe, so if anything happens, then you're in public. So okay, you have a lot of online dating friends. Interesting. Yeah, sometimes you start with the idea of online dating and then you just become friends, and that's okay, right? On the opposite side, sometimes you start as friends and then you become a couple. So interesting. All right, let's move on to the next question. Let's go back here. And then window. I wish I had a shortcut to do this more quickly, but anyway. All right, so we're going to move over here. So, online dating, gone. What's going on? Okay, let's move on to the last and final picture. Here. What do you see here? It's a very strange picture, very unusual. What do you guys think is happening here? Yeah, it's a very, unusual situation. Why is this orange? And it really stands out, right? The contrast between this water, I guess, and the environment around it. It's all white and grey, yeah? Why is it orange? What is it? Why? Sorry, I just said why. And who are these people? Where are they? Yeah? Any ideas? Let me quickly get this over here so I can see the chat. Not clean water, but can save life. They are painting the river. Interesting. Some good ideas, good ideas. Thank you, Layla Sarah. I wonder, it can save your life. If you drink this water, do you think you would die? Is it possible to drink this water? I guess if you have no water and you have no other choice, I guess maybe. Can't be drink? Right. Or it's a painting. Oh, interesting. So this is not a photo, but a painting. A very realistic painting. Ah, that's an interesting idea. Rescue symbol, waiting for helicopters to rescue them. So, like, yeah, because if you're in a helicopter in the sky, you could see this very easily, right? So it's like an SOS. I like these creative ideas. If I zoom in, can I zoom in? What do we see here? This man, it looks like he's holding something. Is that like a smartphone? And we have some strings here. Is there some sort of device or like a fishing net? Lava. Lava. Oh my god, he's getting really close to the lava. And then let's look at these people in the background here. Over here. Yeah, this looks like a really isolated place. Okay, right. I am going to show you the answer. But we had a lot of good ideas with the rescue symbol, the paint, or maybe the dye. Dye, you could say, as a liquid. Is it a river? Magma is very good. Lava, magma. Okay, well, let's have a look at the story behind this picture. Okay, what's going on in this picture? February 26th, 2024. So earlier this year. Right. Oops. This week's image comes from the article As Switzerland's Glaciers Shrink. A way of life may melt away. Okay. Graduate students from ETH Zurich using orange dye to track and measure the surface melt at the Rhone Glacier, which has retreated about half a kilometer since 2007. Okay, so what they are doing here, the ice or the glaciers are similar to icebergs, but remember in yesterday's seminar, an iceberg floats in the water. Yeah, in Antarctica we have tons of icebergs, but they are melting. Glaciers are on the land. Yeah, they're not floating in the water, they are on the land. And previously, probably all of these rocks you can see here and all of this white ground, I don't know for sure, but there was probably ice on here before, okay? And you can see here in the background there is still a little bit of ice left over here in the background. So they are measuring kind of how much ice is melting and how fast it's traveling and doing all of this research by looking at the water that's melting. But of course, it's very difficult to measure if you can't see it, yeah, if it's all the same color. So they added the dye to check and measure the speed, the amount, and all of this stuff, yeah. My question is, isn't this dye kind of pollution? Isn't it bad? Or is it such a small amount that it's okay? I don't know, but anyway. Okay. So, the article explains how rising temperatures and retreating glaciers, retreating meaning it's melting and moving backwards, threaten Europe's water tower, forcing local farmers to adapt and presaging larger troubles downstream. I actually don't know this word. It's quite a rare word, but it seems like the glaciers are hurting the local farmers. Maybe the water travels to some nearby farms. Maybe it's too much or too little. We don't know. Okay? And then just because of time, I'm going to quickly move on. But this is the story, yeah? They're using dye to track how much water is melting and running through. Okay? All right. Now, let's go back to the questions. Could you please share the full articles with us? Yeah, definitely. Thank you for letting me know. I'll share them after the lesson. You might have to remind me. I might forget. So if I do, please just tell me again and I'll do that for you. Okay? Right. Let's move on to some more questions. On the subway. Oof. I remember this. Yeah, okay. I think I'll have to find it. It is this one. Okay. This is going to be a discussion question. Let me open this in a new tab. This is an image, obviously. What do you see here? And does it remind you of any experience? So I'm going to start. This is very simple. It's some people on the subway. This is a really good inspiration exercise. I want you to look at this GIF, this moving image, and tell me, do you have any stories related to being on the train or traveling or being on the subway? These pictures are great as a writing exercise as well. Like, you look at the image and you just write any story. It can be true or false. It doesn't have to be true. It's just a starting point for, writing some real life or just some interesting stories. Yeah, just a bit of output practice. They are in the metro, definitely. Yeah. When I look at this image, again, if you want to come on stage, please do. Oh, we have somebody, and they've disappeared. So when I look at this image, it reminds me of my time in Japan. When I went home late at night, I think it was the last train at like 11:30 p.m. or something like that. And I saw some people black out drunk. They were so drunk that they were like collapsed on the floor, right? And I've heard this happens actually quite often. A lot of salarymen go drinking late at night. And he was like collapsed on the floor. He was in front of the door, and people were like stepping over, like it was just normal, right? They were just like, oh, not again. But for me, this was culture shock because I'd never seen this before in the UK. But maybe it does happen in the UK. I'm not sure. I don't use the London tube late at night. I also don't live in London. But yeah. It was absolutely crazy. So, do you guys have any crazy experiences on the subway or on the metro or maybe another form of transport like a plane or in the car or something? Does anyone want to share or come on stage? So, on the way to go home or company. So, yes, I was going home. I think I was meeting a friend, having dinner. It was a Friday night, I believe. I'd like to be on the subway eating. Interesting. Is eating okay on the train in your country? Because I think in Japan, I've never seen anyone eating. And especially if it's something like smelly, or very something that's smelly and would disturb other people, I think it would definitely be a no-go. In the UK, sometimes I see people eating on the train, but yeah. Okay, right. Since no one is coming on stage, I'm gonna move on to the next question. Oh, you can. Oh, interesting. In India, you can eat on the train. Yeah, so maybe it's a cultural thing. All right, let's move on to the next. Oh, you can in China as well. Interesting. So yeah, it really depends on the country. Okay, so that was on the subway. I really like these random images as a writing exercise, like this one. Like, you can write something short or you can write something super long. It's totally up to you. And as a final piece of advice, if you do write your own personal story, like what you saw or just anything, you can, of course, try to use some keywords, use the dictionary, find some new vocab, and then when you talk to a friend, language partner, language lesson, talk about this thing, yeah? Really try to use those keywords that you searched in the dictionary, and that's like another step of practice, and that will help you memorize the phrases and grammar that you used, okay? But you don't have to say exactly the same thing, yeah? Many people try to memorize word for word what they wrote, but that's not natural, that's not useful. Just focus on using the keywords, and if your sentence is a bit different, that's okay, because you're still using the keywords, okay? All right. Oh my gosh, my throat is killing me. 1 second. Okay, right. Sorry, I need to find the... Where is it? Where is my Hello Talk window gone? It has disappeared. I can no longer see the... There we go. Sorry, I'm going crazy. Okay, right. You have a question. Were you born in the UK? Yes. People can open their phone voice loudly? No. Not in Japan. Well, you shouldn't. In the UK, people do, but I think it's annoying and irritating. I don't like it, but anyway. It does happen in the UK. I'm not a fan, though. Alright. What makes you really angry? Oh, this is a good question. Again, I think anybody want to come and share what makes you really angry? Let me think about this. And again, you can share in the comments below as well. What makes you... Sarah, going to work makes you angry. So, do you just go to work like in a bad mood, like, and then when people talk to you, like, hey Sarah, can I ask you for get out of here, I don't want to talk to you. Some people say that do not talk to me before I have had my morning coffee. They say if they don't have their coffee, they're very easily annoyed, they get angry, and they kind of lose their temper very quickly. So, you hate your work, yeah. I guess I'm quite lucky. Like, for me, I really enjoy doing these live streams, talking to people and teaching. When I'm teaching children in a school, and there were some children who were going absolutely crazy and I couldn't control them, that irritated me a lot. And I'll be honest, I think that's mostly because I'm not good at teaching children, I believe. Though I do have a lot of child students. But yeah, what makes me angry? I would say rude people. But some people are not rude on purpose. Maybe they just don't know, they don't have the manners, or they just don't know they're being rude. So sometimes I think it's important to be patient and calm down and think, are they really trying to make you angry, or is it just a mistake, or they're doing something wrong, right? That's how I try to calm myself down. But yeah, rude people, especially if they're being rude to my friends. Being rude to me, I don't mind so much. I don't really care. I just ignore them. But if they're being rude to somebody important to me, that really irritates me. So anyway, being stuck on some thoughts, student. Yeah, that is irritating. Yeah, now that you say that, especially when you studied some vocabulary, like a word, and then you're talking about the same topic, and then it's on the tip of your tongue. You're so close to remembering, but you can't finally remember the word that you're looking for. That is really irritating, because you're so close, right? I get this all the time, and I will think for 5-10 seconds, but then I just give up and I explain it in a different way. So, because in a real conversation, you don't want to make the other person wait too long. Okay? Brainstorming makes you angry? Interesting. When there is a mess, then I get... So, I think if you came to my house, Anna, you would get pretty angry then. No, I'm joking. We're very lucky to have quite a large house, but it gets messy very easily because we have there are probably 7-8 rooms here, but only 2 people live here right now because my parents bought this house. But yeah, when my desk is messy, I can't focus. So I know what you mean. I'm messy in my bedroom though sometimes. I just go into my bed, I go to sleep, play on my phone, I get out. I should clean up my room more. I can't easily get angry. Interesting. So you're a very patient person. That's good, USA. Helping my son do my homework. So when your son doesn't listen, or they're very lazy, or they can't solve the problem, do you get very angry? Interesting. All right, let's move on to the next question. Thank you for your answers in the chat. Right. Sharing screen. Okay. So I think... Oops. Wrong one. Here we go. So I think we're going to finish maybe soon-ish. We're going to continue for a few more questions. We already did this one before, so let's try again. We already did this one. Sorry, I'm forgetting to cancel them. Oh my gosh, I've forgotten a lot. Oh. Okay, I promise there are more questions. There we go. Okay, perfect. Describe your personality in one word. Has it changed over time? Now, this is an interesting question. It's often an interview question, right? Because in interviews, they often ask you, or they want to understand the way you think. So they will ask, describe yourself in one word. Are you a leader? Are you a team player or something? So this might be a quite good interview practice. Again, if you want to come on stage, please raise your hand. And then I will share. Danger, man. Impossible. If I had to describe myself in one word... Oof. That's a difficult one. I'm going to give you 2 answers. I will tell you how I think other people see me, what other people think about me, and what I want to be. Other people see me as very cheerful. I'm a very cheerful person. Very energetic, very happy. Sorry, those are 3 words there. Cheerful. I smile a lot. I will say, generally, yes, I'm quite cheerful. Sometimes I'm tired and I just act cheerful. I want to be... How do I say it? I don't know the word for this. Is there one word for this? I want to be more independent. So by that, I mean, yesterday in psychology, the psychology seminar, we talked about conformity, which is changing your behavior to match other people. I often worry about what other people think of me, especially when I'm in public. Not so much when I'm teaching. It's more out in the wild, out on the train and things like that. Have you ever, on the tube or on the train, you get off because you think this is your stop, this is your destination. And then you realize either no, you realize that you got off too early, but if you go back onto the train, people might look at you. They might think, why did he just go on and come back? I sometimes get a bit embarrassed about these tiny things. And I'm the type of person that even if I have enough time, I might not go back into the train, even though it's a pain in the neck. I sometimes worry a lot about what strangers think of me. It's stupid, I know. But yeah, I want to be more independent and worry less about what others think of me, because I do think sometimes, one, it just makes me nervous for no good reason. And two, sometimes it can have a bad effect on, for example, helping people. One thing I saw, which was absolutely crazy, was, I think it was Shibuya Station, Tokyo Station, or something like that. And there was a girl who was like limping. I think she hurt her leg. I think she was a tourist as well. She wasn't Japanese. She was limping through the train station, and was it Shibuya Station? Shibuya Station is one of the busiest stations in the world. I think it might be number one, maybe number two. So actually, instead of seeing people, you just see this like one big group. It's very hard to see like individual people. But when I saw this girl, I noticed, I looked around and I saw other people looking at her, like passing by. She was clearly, something was wrong, something like maybe she hurt herself, because she was going down the stairs and she was holding onto the railing. I walked by, I looked around and noticed other people looking at her, continuing. And then, I don't know why, but I continued walking for a few steps. And I thought, why the heck am I not helping this person? Like, why am I doing the same thing as the other people? And often, you know, we as humans, before we do something, we look at other people first. We look at other people's reactions and then decide what to do based on what we see, right? Why? Right? Like, we can all make our own decisions. We're all adults. Why do we need to check with others to decide what we want to do? Right? And often, for example, I should help this person, your decision can be affected by these other people, like I did, right? My logical brain saying, I should help this person. But first, I looked around and said, oh, everybody's just walking by, I'll just do the same. But luckily, I stopped myself. And then I talked to her, I helped her, and then I had to go, so I couldn't take her all the way to the destination. But that memory sticks with me, has stuck with me for a long time, because I thought, why the heck did I hesitate? Like, I really don't like this part of me that worries too much. Anyway, sorry, that was a long story. I went way too far. I apologize. You must have faced some trauma. I don't think so. Maybe. Independence, bipolar, okay. Right. So, let's move on to the back to the questions. Sorry, that story was probably very boring, but anyway. So, your personality. So, I see some people said they were bodybuilders. Is bodybuilder a personality? So, just looking at the independence, great. So, Layla, you're very independent, not like me. Some people saying bipolar, so maybe you change quite a lot. Sometimes you care for more other people attitude. Yeah, that's true. You care more about other people's opinions, right? We do. Yeah. That can be a good thing, but sometimes it's not. So, okay. Sorry. Right. So, let's move on to the next one. How often do you study languages? Very simple question. Um, I do not study enough. It's important to study regularly. I don't study very often. When I was serious about my Japanese study, I studied like, again, with a full-time job, it's really difficult, but maybe an hour a day, most days a week. But now I study maybe like 2 hours a week. It's very bad. It's not good. Same, don't study languages. Interesting. Yeah. How about you guys? Do you study languages very often? How often, or what do you think is the ideal or the best frequency? How many times a week should you study? Is it better to study 5 hours in one day, or maybe 1 hour 5 days a week? Should you split your study time or do a intense study session on the weekend? What do you think? 1 hour a day, very good. Nice and regular. Because a lot of people disagree on the best frequency, the best kind of timing to study. Yeah. Is there anybody who wants to come on stage and share an answer? Nope. Okay, in that case, we'll move on. I think actually, instead of choosing random, because I think many people will be interested in this question, do you have a favorite English idiom? I should have prepared for this one. I should have thought. Sorry, I'm not sharing my screen, am I? Oh, there we go. So, but the question is, do you have a favorite English idiom? What about you guys? I would really be interested to hear, for you guys, do you have a favorite English idiom? Because I can only choose one, so if you share some, we can talk about some more great idioms. But let me think. I'm thinking of one that comes to mind, but there might be get out of hand. That's an interesting one. Okay, so to go out of control, very good. For me, I don't know if it's my favorite, but one of the first idioms that come to mind that I think is very useful and quite cool is, and I'm going to write this here, double-edged sword. Okay? For example, let me give you an example sentence and then you can guess the meaning. Online dating can be a double-edged sword. The key here is double. That is the hint. Okay? Online dating can be a double-edged sword. Any ideas? What do you guys think? I will give you the meaning of this idiom in about 10 seconds. What do you think a double-edged sword means? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, interesting, Rumi. Thank you. Getting more advantages at one time. Riding a bicycle. Oh, is that the idiom? I see. I don't know. Riding a bicycle. Is that? Oh, something is like riding a bicycle, maybe. But yeah, it might give you a benefit or something else. Good ideas. Thank you, Delaram, HL Franco, and Rumi. A double-edged sword is something that has pros and cons, advantages and disadvantages. Yeah. Online dating is a double-edged sword. You can meet a lot of people, but there are a lot of weirdos on the internet. Okay? Double-edged sword. Yeah, instead of just saying something has pros and cons, advantages and disadvantages, you can say something is a double-edged sword, and then you would explain the pros and cons. Yeah, so it's quite a cool, fashionable way, not fashionable, but quite a cool way of saying these. Sorry, pros and cons. I'm gonna take this off. It's hurting my hand ears. Very good HL cons and pros. Two opposite effects. Very good. Gambling. Very nice. Good. Yeah. One side maybe you meet the right person. Other side cheating. Very good. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, we have two people who want to come on stage. Maybe they want to share their idiom or maybe ask a question or something. So I'm going to let Annie Lee come on stage. Let's see if she wants to come on. Right, I better put on. Oh, I just took these off.
Oh, hello.
Oh,
Hi, Eric.
Hi, Annie. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too.
Great. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good.
Good.
You know,
good.
because today is Sunday. Yeah, I don't need to work. I just have a
Definitely.
relax.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
good. Wonderful. But you're studying on your day off. That's very, hardworking of you.
Not really.
Not
You know,
really.
actually, I study English 3 times a week.
Wow.
Yeah.
I see. So how often you study English, right? And how long do you study for each session? Is it always like 1 hour or longer or less?
No, actually, if I didn't enter any live streaming room, actually, I will have a regular class on
Right.
Hello Talk.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
I buy class on Hello Talk, and
Right.
I have a practice partner.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's good.
yeah, it's my class is 30 minutes.
30
Yeah.
minutes, right. Oh, that's a good length of time, I think. Not too long, not too short.
You know, because if yeah, I can choose to longer time, but it will cost more money. You know.
True, of course, right. I see. But that's great. So it seems like not just you're
Mhm.
studying a lot every week, but you're doing different things, like sometimes listening to live streams, sometimes doing lessons. So really nice that you're doing different things to study.
Okay, thank you. You know, actually, I have used this app
Yeah.
almost 6 months.
Oh, 6 months.
Yeah.
So, okay, that's pretty long. Well, compared to me, I only started using like 2 months, I think.
Yeah, because I want to improve my oral English, and
Definitely.
my friend recommended this app to me,
Yeah.
and when I use it, I found out it's really a good toy for me to learn
Definitely.
English. Yeah, so I just buy class on Hello Talk. Yeah, and actually I have 3 class every week.
That's amazing. So you're getting a lot of practice every week.
Yes.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good. I see. Well, what was it? For you, I guess, do you think your current study schedule, taking these classes and maybe 3 times a week, do you think this is a good amount for you, or do you want to increase or decrease this time?
Yeah, I think currently, this amount is okay.
Right. I see.
Yeah. Firstly, you know, I need to consider money.
Yeah,
You know.
definitely.
Yeah. Secondly, yeah, I need to consider my own time. Yeah, actually, I will have my class normally normally at night. So
Oh, I
yeah.
see. Right.
Yeah, so you also, you know, take class also cost some of my time. So I think
Definitely.
three time a week, yeah, it's good for me.
Definitely. Yeah. I guess because it takes so much time, energy, and effort, it's really important to find a teacher who's, well, very knowledgeable, very good at teaching, but also somebody that you can have good chemistry with, right? Maybe similar interests, or just
Mhm.
somebody who you can have a fun conversation with, because then it doesn't feel like study and it doesn't feel like work. It's just a fun way of learning, right? And I guess that's why you said Hello Talk is a nice toy, right?
Yes, yes.
Mm,
Actually, because I can choose my own practice partner. So
yeah.
yeah, so mostly I'll choose different practice partner,
Mm,
because I want to communicate with different people.
very
Yeah,
true.
so I can practice my understanding, my listening.
Mm.
Yeah, I think it's very nice.
That is very good. Yeah. That's a really good point. That's having different practice partners. I think what was it?
Mhm,
Having one practice partner or having many different ones, of course, it's a double-edged sword, right? For example, if you have many different partners, it's like having many different friends, right? Your relationship is quite shallow,
mhm, mhm.
and you can't have those really deep conversations, but you get used to many different accents and kind of you can learn many different things about different people, right? So, really good idea. Mm,
Yeah, you are right.
yeah,
Also, I can meet some
mm,
interesting teachers. Yeah,
definitely.
we can talk a lot of things.
Mm,
Sometimes they uh tell me some of their
yeah,
countries interesting things.
definitely.
And some histories.
Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, that's the cool thing about language, right? You're not just learning about the language, but you're using language to learn about history, culture, or anything really. So you're kind of getting smarter and expanding your brain in many different ways.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
but wonderful. All right. I see there's another person that wants to come on stage, so to give them a chance, before we finish, is there any comment or question, final thing you want to say or ask?
I don't have other question.
No?
Yeah, thank you.
Mm, no,
Yeah.
thank you so much, Annie. And I want to say one last thing. I
Mm-hmm.
think your English is great. You're super fluent. Your pronunciation is easy to hear. I don't know about your vocabulary because we've been talking for like 2 minutes. But
Mm-hmm.
it seems like I think you're very high level and your study is really paying off. You're doing a great job.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah,
No worries.
yeah,
Thank you
yeah.
very much, Annie. And hopefully, I'll see
Mm-hmm.
you again soon, okay?
Yeah. Okay. See
Great.
you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye. There we go. Oh, a wonderful lady, Annie Lee, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Now I'm going to let Layla come on the stage. Let's see. Let's see if she's still here. Maybe she's disappeared. Maybe she's still here. I'm going to take a quick drink. Okay.
Hi.
Hello. Hi, Layla. Nice to meet you.
Hi, teacher. Nice to meet
Great.
you.
I'm very great. And how are you?
I'm perfect. And you?
Wonderful. I'm very good. Thank you. And
I
yeah.
like your smiling. How come?
I
Yes.
don't know. I think my smile is very normal, but yeah. Thank you. Hmm.
So you always keep smiling in
Hmm.
your life?
Not in my life. I'm not like smiling 24/7. Like when I sleep, I don't smile. That would be crazy. But yeah, when I'm teaching, or just when I'm hanging out with friends, I I don't always try to smile. Often it's just natural. So
Because you know why? I think it's quite important.
hmm.
It's an easy way to make connection with students and
Yeah,
teachers.
true. Definitely. Yeah, you're
Yes.
creating a positive atmosphere.
Okay. Why I want to come to state? I have one question.
Yeah, sure.
Mm, you mentioned you learned Japanese, right?
Yes, that's right.
Japanese. Okay, how to say hello in Japanese?
Oh, how do you say hello? You say konnichiwa.
Uh,
There are different greetings. Gozaimasu is more good morning, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
It's hard for me to learn. Okay. Pardon, sorry.
Oh, sorry. Konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa.
Yeah, my pronunciation is not perfect. I'm not a native, but yeah.
I'm really interested in Japanese,
Oh, really?
but
Yeah.
no,
Mm.
yeah, but I cannot speak Japanese.
No, that's
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, so you can, start studying, maybe look into what was it? I would say start with some textbooks, some beginner YouTube videos. Yeah, there are so many
Okay.
resources. Mm.
Okay.
Okay.
So the last question is, what's the biggest difference between Japan, and you're from UK, right?
That's
UK.
right.
Yeah.
hmm What's the biggest difference? Are you talking about the countries or the language?
Culture.
Culture.
Culture. Yes.
That's a good question. I would say Japan and the UK are quite similar in many ways, in the way that they're very indirect. We like to avoid fighting, and we're not, for example, beat around the bush to say things indirectly. That's a
You like
British
food?
idiom.
Mm-hmm.
But how are we different? British people like to be very sarcastic and make fun of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you compliment me and say, "Oh, you have a nice smile," I'd say, "Really? Like I still need to fix my teeth, like or something." I make myself look stupid or something like that. This is our way of showing humility, right? Humility. Do
Humility.
you know what humility is?
Humility, right?
Yes. Do you know what humility is?
Humorous, like humorous.
Oh, not quite. Um, do you know the word humble?
I know humble.
Yeah, humility is the noun of humble, right? So
Ah,
if you compliment my smile and say, you have a really nice smile, if I'm being arrogant or very confident in a negative way, I might say, yeah, you don't need to say that. Of course I have a brilliant smile. I'm the most handsome man in the world. No, something stupid like that. But being humble is the opposite.
I
And in
know.
this way,
I know
yeah,
what.
I would make a joke about myself. So Japanese people, they usually just say like, "Oh no, 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 that's not true," or they would try to compliment you instead. So our humility, way of showing it, is very different. Okay. Yeah.
Humble,
Yeah.
humility.
Yes.
Okay.
What about you?
Yeah.
Before what was it, move on, I want to ask you, what is a big difference between your culture and maybe, I don't know, British culture, American culture, or any other?
You mean between my country and Japan?
It can be Japan, or it can be Britain, or any other country.
Mm, Give me few seconds. Give
No
me five
problem.
seconds. I'm
That's a
thinking.
nice phrase, good phrase to buy time. Good.
For me, I'm from China,
hmm
so actually, for me, I don't like Japanese
Okay.
because the history. So, but 5 years ago, I have been to Japan. I think people they are very kind. They are very
Definitely.
kind. Like you mentioned, they are very humble. Humble.
Very true.
Yes, especially for ladies, young
Mm,
ladies.
mm, mm.
They keep smiling with you, even though they know you're from other country.
Yeah.
But yeah, they are very polite. Polite.
Definitely. Mm,
Yeah. So yeah, people are very helpful. But
mm,
for
mm,
Chinese, I think, for example, if you and me will meet in the first time,
mm,
if you I'm not I'm not how to say,
mm-hmm.
I don't want to say hello for you if I'm Chinese. Yeah. But in Japan they are very, very uh I don't know how to say
That's
English.
okay. That's okay. Take your
Yeah,
time.
you get
Mm.
yeah, they are very happy, they are
Yeah.
very kind.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. I mean,
Yes, yes.
yeah, every country has its history. France and Britain haven't always had the best relationship. but
Yes.
one of my closest friends is French, and right now, in our generation, we're very lucky. Maybe our grandparents, that generation, they were not so lucky with World War II and things like that. But right now, whatever country you're from, whatever history, it's all in the past, right? And especially the younger generation, every country has good and bad people, right?
Yes.
A lot of people say, oh, British people are so gentlemanly, they always open doors for people. I'll say, no, they don't. Like, I've never seen, no, I'm joking. Okay, sometimes I see people opening doors and being polite, but I also see this in Japan, right? And in China. So, yeah, it really doesn't matter which country you're from, but yeah, we do have some cultural differences.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Perfect.
Perfect.
All right.
Thank you. Thanks so much for your
Thank you so
answering.
much
Thank
for
you.
coming on stage, and yeah,
Thank
hopefully
you.
see you soon, Layla. Okay.
Bye, Alec. Bye,
Thank
teacher.
you. Bye.
Bye.
All right. There we go. Wonderful. Yeah, it's tough when you have when your country doesn't have the best relationship with other countries. Some people might be a bit more hesitant, or how do I say it? A bit more scared of talking to these people. Being scared or hesitant and not wanting to talk to these people, I understand. Well, I don't really understand the feeling. I don't feel the same way, but I can understand why they might feel that way, right? Like, if I fought in World War II against Japan, I would probably, after war, your brain is like messed up. You see some horrible things. So I would probably feel the same way if I were fighting in World War II. So it's hard for me to just say, no, you shouldn't do that or feel that way, because humans, natural emotions and things like that. But yeah, nowadays we're very lucky, and generally, whatever country you're from, there are good and bad people from any country. Anyway, thank you. Just going to quickly read the comments. I agree with Eric. I forgot what I said, so... But yeah, thank you, Layla. That was a really nice, sharing moment. Thank you for telling me. Well, telling everyone, really. Okay, right, let's move on to the next question. Oh, sorry, favorite English idioms we were talking about. Next, let's move on to... Let's go over here. Oh my gosh, the stream has been going on for 2 hours. Not too bad, not too bad. Okay, so that one's finished. Oops. Let's go here, cross, and then... Oof. It's already past. Halloween is no longer here, but do you believe in ghosts? I'm going to pour a cup of tea before I answer this question, but you guys, do you guys believe in ghosts? By the way, if you're curious, this tea is not British tea. It is chamomile tea. Do you believe in ghosts? Interesting. We have a mix in the chat. So we have, no, I believe. I do not believe in ghosts. I believe, no, I don't. Ghosts exist. It's literally like 50-50, I think. Half do, half don't. Can anyone share why they believe in ghosts? Having a reason that might have more discussion. Personally, let me think about this. I say I don't believe in ghosts, but when I am in a dark place by myself, sometimes I feel like there might be a ghost somewhere, and I start sweating a little bit. I get a bit creeped out. So I can't say I don't believe in ghosts if I get scared in these silly situations. Or maybe I'm worried about a person, a real person, like a murderer or a serial killer, but I don't really believe in ghosts. That's my simple answer. Interesting. No, you don't. Ghosts exist because I've never met one. True. Yeah, I mean, many of us have never had a supernatural experience, right? But some people have. I think my mother said she had seen a ghost. Like, my mother in Hong Kong, her neighbor passed away, and so the house was empty. Well, it was supposed to be empty. And telling this ghost story, I feel like I should have some spooky music in the background. But anyway, so the house or apartment was supposed to be empty. But when she was walking outside and looked in the window, she really strongly believes she saw a moving shadow in the window. Okay. That's it. That's the story. There's nothing else. Another short story. I was recording a Halloween video in this room, literally, and there was a mirror. Actually, it's over there. The ghost story was related to mirrors, so I had the mirror on the table and I was recording. When I was recording, I didn't notice anything. But when I was editing the video, I went off camera and it was just the mirror and the table. I think I went to the toilet or something, and you know what happened? While I was in the toilet, the mirror kind of shifted. It made a loud sound and it moved. Like, I think it was unbalanced, so maybe it was just gravity, like, making it move, but it was very sudden. It was like, boom. When I looked at that footage, I was editing this late at night. I was wetting my pants. I was absolutely terrified. And then I talked to my friend. I was like, do you think it's a ghost? And I think it's stupid. Anyway, because I don't believe in things that don't have... What does it say? Uh-oh. Wait a minute. I think my PC is having a problem. I can't move this window. Oh, there we go. Okay. When I was a child, I think I saw a couple of ghosts. Maybe it was my imagination. Yeah, as a child, you often are scared of the dark, and we often see things that... I don't know. Because I don't believe in things that don't have substance. Ooh, interesting. Nice job, Yuka. Substance. Things that you cannot touch. By the way, bonus vocabulary for you here. Something you can touch is called tangible. Oops. Something you can touch. Something that you cannot touch, like ghosts, if they exist, or ideas, or things like this. These are called intangible. Okay? Tangible, you can also say physical things, but tangible, high-level words. So, always the children below 5 years, the eye is clear, that can see the ghost. Some people do say children have this, like, sixth sense. Or, like, by the way, sixth sense is, like, a sense for, like, supernatural stuff. Okay? That's another good word. Sixth sense. A sense for... Is it just ghosts or anything supernatural? Anyway, a sense for things that we can't see, maybe? Something like that. But yeah, okay? Anyway, let's move on to the next one. I'm gonna quickly share my screen. Oh, I need to move that. I think my camera is bugging out. I think there's an issue. Do you guys see anything wrong with my camera? Is it, like, strange? Franco, it's a ghost, literally. My are you guys seeing this? Please tell me it's not just me. do you guys see this like black bar thing? Like, please somebody tell me it's not just me. This is not a joke. I did not press a switch to make my stream go weird. Anyway, let's go. It is blinking. Oh my gosh. I think there's a ghost in my room. Oh my gosh. Anyway, well, if I disappear next weekend, you know what's happening. Though, to be fair, I've had a lot of technical issues recently, so maybe that's why, but I'm sorry, I don't know how to fix it, so I'll have to continue for now, but let me share my screen. This is actually getting kind of creepy. I don't know why my screen is for my camera. If I turn it off, wait. No, that's not turning off, that's just the light. Anyway, okay, well, let's continue. I'm getting worried. There's a ghost in my stream, in my room. Oh, anyway. We've talked about this. Pass. Ooh. This is interesting. Do you worry about your appearance? Okay. I'm gonna stop You know what? I think my screen is still... Oh, no, it's okay. Okay, I think it's okay. So, do you worry about your appearance? I worry more than before. In school, I didn't care so much. Now, especially because I'm doing live streaming and other things, I worry more, but yeah, not that much, I guess. Like, if my hair's a bit messy, I don't want to spend like an hour gelling my hair and making myself trying to look cool. Like, it's just a waste of time. What about you guys? Do you worry about, you know, your appearance? Let's see. Because, yeah, I guess everybody... Okay, maybe not everybody. Oh my gosh. Okay, I can see it flashing again. I'm going to turn off my camera and turn it on again. Did it change? Wait a minute. Aha! There we go. I think that's better. Okay, so... Oh no, now you can't see anything. Oh no. Oh, we're back. And I think it's better. Anyway, let's hope. Very good, Franco. Good question. Appearance means how we look. That's right. Your hair, your clothes, your face. Okay? So, do you worry about your appearance? In general, in life? I do. More than before. Oh no, it's flashing again. The ghost is still here. I don't know how to fix it, but we'll be finishing the stream soon, so please ignore it. Apologies. Yes, I do. Yeah, I think everybody does, right? Like, we live in a society where everybody is not always watching us, but at work. Appearance is important for being judged. They found that, for example, on the news stations, on like NHK, BBC, CBS, and stuff like that, the more attractive newscasters, you know, the people on the face of the news, will generally get more views, right? More views means more money, more advertising for the news stations. And of course, when you see somebody who's got messy hair, maybe their tie is a bit loose, it gives a bad impression, right? Yes, they might be good at their job, but it's more about how they care about their image and maybe the professionalism, right? So But CBS, thank you, not CBN. It depends on the occasion. That's a good point, Nina. Yeah. Sometimes, you know, if you're going to a social event, yeah, you should put on more makeup or like do your hair a bit, make yourself look nice. But if you're just hanging out with friends, you probably don't need to worry too much. Okay. But yeah, I think most people worry about their appearance to some level or extent. All right, let's move on to the next question. Let's do 2 more questions. Let's have a look. Oh, wrong window. This way. Okay, so. Okay. What do you need to be good at conversation? I do have some opinions about this, but before I answer, I want you guys to share some of your ideas. What do you need to be good at conversation? Okay? Any ideas? Because there are a lot of things, vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation, but there are also many things that are not related to language. There are some things that are related to social skills. I'm going to quickly give some people time to share their answers. What do you need to be good at conversation? Let's have a look. Jane Sky, sincere and honest. Yeah, your personality is very important, right? You can't be good at conversation if nobody likes you, right? Having your own opinions, very good, Yuka, definitely, yeah. You guys sharing your comments in the chat, you're thinking and you're sharing your opinions quickly, right? Which is good practice for real life conversations. Yes, here you're just typing on your phone, but this is you're simulating or doing something similar to real life, so really good. Being active, good, Tina, yeah? You don't want to just sit. You don't want to just listen, because if one person does 80-90% of the talking, they're going to feel tired. They might even start getting bored, and they will run out of things to talk about. Well, most people. So, yeah, it's important to be active, yeah, 50-50, ask questions, share your opinions, react. All of these things are very important, okay? And then social, don't hesitate to disagree to someone. Very good, Yuka. Yeah, I agree. There are some things, or sometimes when it's okay to just agree or pretend to agree, even if you disagree, like politics, right? It's not always good to have an argument. But sometimes you do need to put your foot down or stand your ground and not conform. You need to talk about things, what was it? Like, you know, race, history, these things. You can't just always agree with other people. So, I don't know if that's important for a... But yeah, if you disagree, you can learn a new viewpoint, so that can lead to a good conversation, right? But you do need to be careful, because if the other person is very, like, short-tempered and they get angry when people disagree with them, then you're not going to have a good conversation because of their personality, right? Self-confidence, definitely, Franco, yeah. Intellectual personality. Do you need to be smart to have a good conversation? I'm not sure I completely agree. But that's an interesting point, Nina. Of course, if the other person doesn't have much general knowledge about current events, or But even then, I don't see that as a problem. Like, I don't mind explaining things to the other person if they don't know something. And when you say intellectual or smart, like, what is smart? Is it just knowing a lot of things? Or is it, like, socially smart? Like, understanding other people's feelings? Like, EQ? But I would say it helps if you're smart. But more than that, I feel like having a good personality is more important. For example, if you talk to a researcher or a professor, these people are some of the smartest people in the world. But if you talk to them and they just go and they tell you all about their research and everything, you can't have a good conversation, right? But yeah, being smart might help a little, but I don't think it's necessary. I would say personally, personality is more important for me. But yeah, good idea, Nina. Thank you. Show your opinion. Don't make your partner feel bad. Very good point. Yeah. You can show your opinion. You can disagree and be polite, right? A lot of it is related to your tone of voice, your facial expression, and your body language. And this is why I say it's not all about language. It's a lot to do with how you say things and how you present yourself. Yeah? Short-tempered person, easy to get mad. That's right, exactly, Jane. If you're short-tempered, it means you get angry quickly or easily. Okay? But yeah, good ideas. Thank you for those interesting comments. Those were great ideas. All right, let us move on to the next question. I think my webcam has stopped blinking, right? So I think the ghost got bored of listening to us talking about English. So this is boring. He's not reacting to me, so I'm gonna go to another house. Yeah, you go. The ghost is gone. Respect others, definitely, Eddie. I completely agree. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Let's go here. I think we only have, how many do we have? I think we only have like, okay, let's do one final one. Let's do two more. Let's go with, which one should we do? Generation gap or social media? I can't decide. Oh, which one? Or should I just picture? Okay, fine. Let's go for the picture then. Let's have a look here. Okay, I hope you can all see my screen. So here we have an interesting picture. Again, there's no set answer. This is kind of like abstract art. When the artist drew this, maybe they had a meaning or a message in their mind, but we don't know. There's no set answer. I want you to tell me, what do you see? What do you think is happening? And maybe what is the meaning of this message? And bonus, can you connect this to your life? Yeah. Imagine this is not this girl, but it's you. What do you think this image is saying about you or your life? Are you similar to this image? Or maybe if this were you, it would be different. Maybe it would be the opposite. Yeah. So just some free thinking. I'll give you a minute or two to think and type your answers. I'll share my answer and then we can read some comments. If you want to come on stage and share your answer verbally, that's great too. So, thinking time. Put on your thinking caps. I need to drink a lot more water. Oh my god. But I also need to go to the toilet. So actually, I'm going to take this chance. I'm going to quickly go to the toilet while you guys are thinking and commenting. So please give me 30 seconds. Okay, I apologize. I think that took more than 30 seconds, but I'm not going for the world record of going to the toilet, so that's okay. Actually, I wonder, what is the world record for going to the toilet? Well, okay, that's a stupid question. Anyway. So, let's have a look at some of the comments. We have some really good ideas here. So, hi. One lady has a negative and a positive side, but this lady wants positive to overcome. I see. So she wants to be more positive. Interesting. That's why the positive side is pulling the negative side. Interesting. I like that interpretation. By the way, interpretation means your personal understanding of something. Yeah, it's not a set answer, it's just how you see or how you understand something. Let me quickly write that down. Interpretation. Your personal understanding of something. Okay, right. Fatigued versus active, very good. Maybe like tired versus active, yeah. You're the left girl, Tina. I think most of us on Sundays, especially if you're always going out to work, you want to just like lay down in bed inside. You just want to relax, yeah? And then you need the right girl to help. Interesting. Welcome to the sunny world, yeah? Remember, the sun, I think it makes a lot of us quite happy and more energetic, right? Do you ever get, when the seasons change, and you get, you know, in the winter there's less sunlight, it's colder, generally, day to day, don't you feel a bit like more depressed, tired, and less energetic, right? Compared to summer, where everybody's going outside to the beach, having fun, playing sports. Our mood can change based on the weather, or inside, outside, right? But anyway, when you feel depressed or tired, go out from your house. That's a good point. I think it depends on your situation, right? If you spend a lot of time at home and your stress is coming from, for example, let's say you do remote work. I'll stop sharing quickly. If you do a lot of remote work like me, I only teach online, and your stress is coming from like your office where you do your work, it's probably better to go outside, right? But if you work in the office and your stress is coming from workplace relationships, your boss, difficult work, I think relaxing at home with your bookshelf, you know, and your comfy sofa, I think that can be good as well. So I do think it depends on your situation and where the stress is coming from. But that's a really good idea. Thank you. What was it? It was Nina again. Thank you. Maybe this woman was introverted before, but now she became active. Interesting. That's a good idea. Sorry, let me share my screen again. So maybe she was introverted. That's a good personality word, right? On the left, introverted, maybe on the right. What's the opposite of introverted? It's not active, though it's quite similar. We would say extroverted. Yeah, but really good idea, Yuka. So maybe it's the same person that wants to become more outgoing, more extroverted. Yeah, good ideas. To be more positive, she looks depressed to me. Yeah. The difficult thing about depression, for example, the woman on the left here, you need energy to go outside. You need a lot more energy to do simple things like clean up your house, right? Everybody's in a different situation, which is why if a depressed person just asks a friend, what should I do to get over my depression? And they might say, well, first of all, you should, just clean up your house. It doesn't take long. It's not that difficult. Well, for people who are mentally healthy, it's not difficult. But people who are depressed, kind of like the snail racing championship that we saw earlier, for humans, running doesn't take that much energy. But for snails, just moving at this slow pace takes 12 times more energy, right? So people in different situations might find some things more difficult. So yeah, it's tough. But no, true. Introverted doesn't mean she's sad. Yeah. Depressed means sad. But right. I think we've had enough here. Completely full of energy in the morning. Sorry, full of energy in the morning, but completely drained by the time she gets home. I really like that word, Rainy. Drained. Drained is another good word for exhausted or tired. Yeah, great vocabulary. Yeah, sometimes when you just get home, you're so tired, you're exhausted. Yeah, so it might be a good idea actually to stay at home. You don't have to force yourself to go outside if you don't want to. Okay? Right, let's move on to maybe one more question before we finish today. Otherwise, I'm going to miss my lunch again. Again, I didn't have breakfast today, but it's only 12:44 p.m., so it's not too bad. Okay. I did see another question. Is social media getting better or worse? I want to ask you guys, because I actually try to avoid social media. I use it, Hello Talk, Moments, posting, to kind of, get or tell people about my events. But I don't really do it for my private life. Like, I just don't find it interesting. But it's good for business, and it's good for people who want to share their life and things like that. But do you guys think social media is getting better or worse? What do you think? Let's have a look. Double sword. Oh, double-edged sword. Very good. Well done. Half-half. Nice. Good. So, is social media getting better or worse? I don't think social media... I'm not sure about social media itself, but social media is becoming more popular. More people are getting access to the internet, and more people are learning about these apps and websites every day. As the number of people increases, you get more good, but mostly some weird and bad people. Actually, I can't say mostly bad. Actually, from my experience, most of them have been pretty good. But I do think it is becoming more risky, especially with things like AI and misinformation. Social media can be videos, right? YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, and all of this stuff. Especially people who try to share medical information, like if you drink this, if you drink warm water, your cancer will disappear. Oh, really? I didn't know that. That's amazing. Why haven't we been drinking more warm water? Like, we don't need to go to a doctor. Like, it's just absolutely ridiculous, right? And for most adults, we can see, okay, that's likely not true. But for the younger generation, who are easily influenced, I think we have a very big responsibility as content creators and people who upload things onto the internet, not just watching or reading. We gotta be careful. But worse. Interesting, Yuka. Yeah, you think it's worse? Yeah. You think it's bad? I'd say young people care about social media too much, definitely. People often judge others although they don't know the truth, which brings up very good, Tao. Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, it's so easy to edit a video and take one scene out of context, right? Let's say we're talking about bad behavior. I might, for example, make a joke, and I might say, I hate Japanese people. Like they're so rude and they're stupid, and I hate them. Somebody can take that clip after I say joke, and they can just say video, I hate Japanese people, they're stupid, and other people will not know I'm joking, right? And that's actually quite a big danger for content creators, especially the larger YouTubers. People will take things out of context because it's more interesting that way. Videos that have a strong negative or positive, usually negative, like drama and gossip, that will get the most views and that will get more money, right? Of course, if you're making the content yourself, okay, whatever. But if you're somebody who is clipping and taking these scenes and you are not the person yourself, they're re-uploading, I think because it's all anonymous, they don't feel much regret or don't care. But you can get into a lot of trouble. And morally, I think it's wrong. So, anyway. We say about anything that good or bad depends on the good and bad result percent, not the quantity of results. So I think what you're trying to say is we don't care about the numbers, we just care about if it's good or bad, or maybe like what we see first. Something like that. SNS is not bad, but I get addicted, so it depends on how to... Very good. Yeah, I would agree, Eddie. For example, on YouTube, there are a lot of useless rubbish videos on there. But actually, if you enjoy it, if it's just a stupid, like, funniest accidents video, top 10, if you're just relaxing, yeah, that's fine. And also, if you're using, for example, if I re-upload my seminars on YouTube and you're watching something educational and you're learning something from it, great, wonderful. It depends on the type of content you watch and how often you watch it, right? You know, watching useless but funny shorts is a guilty pleasure, right? The people with bad things to say seem to get the most attention on... Very true, Chris, I would agree. Yeah. The most strong opinions and the most negative or positive, usually negative, will get the strongest reaction. Trump is a good example. I'm not going to share my political opinions on this, but he is a very controversial figure. and almost everybody knows his name. And that's partly because of maybe the how do I say this politely? I don't even actually. I'm not going to say anything because, yeah, who knows? Somebody might take this if I say something and then put it on the internet anyway. Okay. Everyone, it depends on the personality of the person if they want to make it good or worse. Yeah, that's true. Some people want to make the world a better place and make fun videos that are innocent and pure. Others just want money, and they will do anything it takes to get more views and money. But yeah. Anyway, that's the unfortunate reality that we live in. So, let's move on to the last question today. Wait, can you see my screen? I am losing track. Okay, there we go. Wonderful. So, do you feel a generation gap when it comes to speaking English? Let's change this English to your native language, because I want to hear your cultural opinions. In your language, do you feel a generation gap? Like, is the language that younger people use different to the language that older people use? Do you speak differently to your, I don't know, young niece or younger sister compared to your grandfather or even your mother, right? Before I answer, I'm going to let you think about this and share your opinions. Even in the native language, there will be a gap. Interesting. Space Dust says, heck yeah, very confident. Okay. I'm going to wait for a few more answers. Very good point, teacher Amethyst. Sometimes it's hard to understand, the difference, the gap, but we should know how to adjust. Very good point. They lost sensitivity and morality, a little gap. The way of saying something is different. True. Very true. Oh, I see. Okay. Older people has feeling like me. Interesting. Okay. It's not easy to get points with each other. Interesting. Yes, because the English language has changed. For example, how are you? What's up? Good point. Good point. Not really. Lips are getting dry. Right. I'm going to comment on some things. It says, Teacher Amethyst said we should know how to adjust. Now, sorry, let me stop sharing. When you learn a foreign language, one thing that you should worry about is the formality. How polite? Is it like a business phrase? Or is it something you can use casually? But also, there are some words that are related to generation. There are some modern words that only young people use, and there are some more old-fashioned words that older people use. One example of this is in the UK. For those of you, if you have never been to the UK, maybe you don't know this, but in British English, the older generation, maybe like 60, 70 or older, they will often, instead of saying you, they will say honey or dear. I think there are some other ones, but you'll often see these in very British movies where there's an older gentleman or lady And when they speak to especially a younger person, they'll say, "Oh, thank you, honey. Thank you, dear." Or something like that. And it sounds very like posh. Like I can imagine the queen or the king saying this. But actually, wait, let me think. Honey, dear. Usually women. Yeah, women say this. Men do not say this. Boy. I'm trying to think about what men say. Men usually, actually, they just say you. So actually, it's also a gender phrase. Okay? So not just generation, but there's also gender that you have to think about. Yeah. In Japanese, they have all of these different subjects depending on man or woman. Atashi, woman. Watashi, man. But actually, women also use watashi. Anyway, I'm not going to go into a lecture about Japanese, but but yeah, just checking the comments. It's probably not a generation gap. We in Bangladesh try to keep distance between two people when we're not friends. Ah, interesting. So the type of language you use, you might try to kind of keep distance by using like less friendly language or more polite language, right? That's a really good point, because more polite language, if you use it with a person you've known for a long time, it feels a bit distant or cold, right? This is the problem with textbook English. You need to learn textbook English as a base, because when we meet people for the first time, it's important to be polite. Casual English comes later in the relationship and later in your study, because usually casual English is like a shortened form of the base or the polite language. So yeah, there's a lot of things that you really have to think about, but it's also very interesting. So they're using shortcuts. Stay hydrated. Thank you, Joy Boy. Honey or dear. Yeah, honey or dear is what older British women say to younger people. When I work at my family's restaurant, we get quite a lot of customers who are a bit older, and when I give them their change, they will often say, "Thank you, honey," or, "Thank you, dear," something. It's very nice. It sounds very elegant. Yeah. So they are bro or brother. No problem with speaking about something that I'm interested. Bro, brother, yeah, bro, fam, cuz. Those are all modern, younger generation words. Ah, interesting, Chris. I've heard men say it to their daughters. Are you talking about honey or dear? That's true, actually. That's a really good point. I think some people do say that to their children. But I don't know if men, British men, say dear or honey to strangers, even if they're younger. But that's a very good point. See, this is the difficult thing about language. There are so many exceptions, and that's why if you ask a native on Hello Talk and things like that, "Oh, what's the natural way to say this?" Many times they will not know the perfect rule or all of the exceptions. Even I, for example, just now, I couldn't give you a perfect answer. What was it? Chris B had to correct me, give me some more information. So if you ever want to find a good translation or like the best way of saying something, usually it's a good idea to ask a few different native speakers. Okay? If you want like a general phrase, okay, like all over the world, ask a Canadian, American, British person. But if you want to know what phrase they use in one country, maybe you love American English, then of course you should ask maybe like 3 different Americans. Yeah. How can we use the term guy in a better way? Guy is an interesting word. Thank you, Mizan. Sometimes you might have heard me say hey guys. Yeah, in my moments recently, I think I wrote, hey guys. It's like a casual way instead of saying everyone. Now, guy, as you may know, is male. Guy, gal, right? But for some reason, and I have no idea why, guy has become gender neutral. That is, it can mean a man or a woman, but it just generally means more than one person. It means everyone. Okay? So instead of hello everyone, bit formal, yeah? If I were wearing a suit and giving a lecture, I might start, hello everyone, welcome to our lecture on psychology today. I hope you are all having a wonderful evening. It's quite formal. If I'm being casual, I say, hey guys, how's it going? Thanks for coming today. Nice to see you all. And yeah, why don't we jump right into it? Let's get in there. Jump right into it. Get in there. We use a lot more kind of... we use a completely different set of expressions and phrases. And that's why casual English is so difficult. But also business English is difficult as well because there are different phrases. So, okay. Yeah. Hey everyone. Hey guys. You're back. Wonderful. Guy was originally American. It might be. Yeah, I actually don't know the how do I say it? The origin of the word guys. But it sounds American. But we also use it in the UK. Or do we? Maybe I've just unconsciously become more American. Who knows? Anyway. Seashore, thank you. When I was young, we would never say it. Did I use guys when I was young? No, not really. But I don't know if it's because it's a generational thing, or it's just because, you know, guys is when you're talking to a group, right? I was very shy. I only talked to one person, so I guess I never had the confidence to talk to a group and I'd say, hey guys, how's it going? Or things like that. Like, I would never enter a group conversation or things like that. Yeah. So it also depends on the situation, but yeah. Anyway, what was it? So I forgot what I was going to say. Oh my gosh, we got 50 people watching. I'm feeling quite nervous now, you know, being watched by everyone. Oh my gosh. Sir, you are a native English speaker. Yes, I am. Folks. Ah, that's a good one, Eddie. Folks. That's a bit old-fashioned, in my opinion. Hey, folks. Hello, folks. Yeah. When I say that, I feel like I'm 39, not 29. It has a different feel, a different atmosphere to it. Hey, folks. Yeah, definitely. If I'm playing a character, when I'm acting or role-playing as, you know, different age or something like, then I might use it, but, okay. But, yeah, language is really tough. There's a lot of things to think about, but don't worry too much about all of these phrases. Like, if you hear it in a conversation and you think, oh, what does that mean? And then you look at the meaning and you think, hey, this is quite useful. I want to use this. Then, yeah, go for it. Learn all of these phrases. But many people bite off more than they can chew. Okay? I'm going to write this idiom in the chat. Bite off more than one can chew. This is one of my favorite idioms. Bite off more than you can chew. If you imagine biting, let's say you have a really nice sandwich or a burger, let's say, and you're so hungry and you bite a huge bite, much bigger than normal because you're starving, you're so hungry, and then you bite too much and you're like you start choking, right? You can't even chew, right? Chewing is this action with your mouth. you can't even chew because there's no space. You bit off more than you could chew. This means to try to do too much. Try to do more than you can handle. So in the context or situation of studying, sorry, I'll take this off, it's choosing too many words to study. Saying, I'm going to study 1 hour each day when you have no free time. All of this is biting off more than you can chew. Okay, so this is one of my favorite idioms that's very useful. Let's see. Let me write the meaning. Bite off more than you can chew. To try and do more than you can handle. Okay. Try to do much that can handle. Focus one thing maybe better. Definitely. Yeah, it's better to focus on one thing sometimes. Yeah, if it's a simple task like washing the dishes, then yeah, multitask. Listen to a podcast. That's great. But yeah. Because of access to all types of accent and different types of English nowadays, do you think we are using the originality of the native language? Good question. Original means the first form or state of something. It is the first version of something, right? With things like, I don't know, products or things that are artificially created, yes, we can say original. But I'm not sure about language, because language is always changing, right? Like, even English, people say like, oh, American English was created after British English, and some people argue like, oh, you should copy British English because it's the original and things like that. As you can see, I completely disagree. English didn't exist. It's, there was Latin and Greek before English, and that's why English, the spelling and the pronunciation is very irregular. Like, there are so many words that have maybe the same spelling but a different pronunciation. For example, rough, thorough, thorough, and then through. Sorry, it should be rough, through, and thorough. But these three words have the same letters, O-U-G-H, but the sound or the syllable is completely different. Rough, f. Through, oo. Thorough, o. Right? It's the same letters. Why is the pronunciation different? It's stupid. Anyway, the reason why is because a lot of these words come from different languages. We have different words that come from German, Schadenfreude. We have French words, sympathetic, which is sympathique, I think. And actually it has a different meaning in French, but and we've borrowed, Japanese words, karaoke in British English, but it's a Japanese word. By the way, karaoke means empty orchestra. That's if you use the kind of kanji. Anyway, I think many people don't care, but I think it's interesting. Karaoke means empty orchestra originally in Japanese, but anyway, what was I saying? That's right. English is already a kind of something that was developed from other languages, and there is no language that has always been here since the beginning of human civilization. Languages are always changing every year, every generation. So having different accents and getting all of these new words, I don't think that's a bad thing. Or rather, it's unavoidable. You can't help it. It's going to happen. It happened in the past, it's happening now, and it's going to continue happening for the future. Some people do think languages are being lost. There are some very specific languages in like Africa or like in some small island, and the native speakers, they slowly die out, and then they haven't taught their children the language, and then it disappears. And that is a big shame. But as for a big language like English, Spanish, Japanese developing and changing from its original roots, I think it's always going to happen. So anyway, sorry, that was quite a long answer. I didn't know that. Oh my god, you didn't know what? Loot, from Hindi word looter. Oh, I didn't know that. Interesting. Loot meaning like treasure or something. Oh, karaoke. Interesting. Yeah, sometimes there are things in your own language that you don't realize until other people say it, right? I'm trying to think of a good example in English. Something that I thought was really surprising. No, I can't think of one off the top of my head, so... But anyway. So, yeah. It's really interesting how language develops and changes. But, it does make it difficult. But again, you don't have to learn every single word. Just learn the basic words that don't change with time. And if you're really high level and you really want to, learn some slang, learn some casual phrases. But it's the same with idioms. One thing I talked about on one of my YouTube videos was, do we need idioms to be fluent? And the answer is no, we don't need idioms. Yes, they're a nice shortcut, and yes, if you use them, you sound cool and native, but you don't need them. And I think many people worry too much about using idioms in the right situation at the right time. But the problem is, when they can't remember the idiom, they freeze, they panic, and they stop. If you want to be fluent, you need to stop worrying about direct translation, or rather A equals B. And I don't know, this is just my personal opinion, but people who use flashcards a lot have this problem more often. Again, I don't know, but I think it might come from older study methods and flashcards and vocabulary lists. And this is why I do not like exam English, or rather the way that many schools study or prepare their students for exams. Because in many cases, they will test you by saying, what does mean in English? And it's just a multiple choice, right? For example, konnichiwa. And then you have 4 choices. Goodbye, hello, welcome, or something else. And then they just make this translation. And the way they study, they just use these flashcards. A, B, right? But in real conversation, when they have the A, but they fail to remember the B, it's like, what do I do now? I don't know. That's it. That's the end of the exam. But this is not an exam. This is real life. So the best thing you can do if you forget an idiom or a word or anything, just explain it simply. I've talked about this before, but it's probably one of maybe the most important English skill or communication skill in any language, I believe. It's having a base vocabulary and being able to explain anything in simple words, right? For example, you can explain any difficult word in simple words. For example, conformity. We talked about this yesterday. It's, what is conformity? Like, instead of just remembering the word, I could just say, I studied it yesterday, but I forgot. Anyway, when you're in a group and you change your behavior, you copy, you mimic everyone else, right? The more hints and information you give, the easier it is for the native to guess what you're saying. And then, because you're giving them all these hints, the correct word will pop up in their mind. And they will tell you, oh, you mean conform. And you might say, oh, yeah, thank you. Yeah. And instead of this just like solo activity where you're just sitting here trying to remember by yourself, you're still communicating with the other person, so they're still listening, they're still interested, and they're trying to help you. And then you get the word from the native, and actually, I believe that when you are reminded by other people, when the native teacher or person teaches you the word again, that will make it stronger in your memory. Again, I have no evidence for this, but I feel that way. Anyway, that was a very long answer. But yeah, okay. So I think we'll end it there. This stream has been going for more than 3 hours, and I need to have lunch and maybe study for, well, not exam, but I need to study because I'm lazy. So does anyone have any final comments or questions before we finish today? I'll just give you a few seconds to share. I'm lazy too. Don't worry. I think we're all lazy sometimes. Oh, before people leave, I will quickly say that I'm going to be doing a live stream, probably next weekend. Saturday, very likely. Sunday, maybe. Depends on my plans. I might be busy on that day. But if you follow me on YouTube or, Hello Talk, then I will post. If I am doing a seminar or lecture on Saturday, I will post. I will put on my Moments or YouTube thing. So, yeah. Okay. Chinese people? Are you Chinese? Kind of. My mother's from Hong Kong. I'm British. I clip your video that you said Japanese is stupid. Mason, no, don't do this to me. Well, I'm not very famous anyway, so nobody will care. Okay. But yeah, before we finish, thank you so much for another, great live stream. Thanks to you guys, lots of comments and answers. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I hope it was useful for you, and hopefully I will see you guys again in the future. Okay? Any final comments? No? Alright. Well, YouTube, Hello Talk, thank you so much for watching today, and I will see you very soon. Okay? Thank you. Bye.